membedah dan membincangkan tentang The Rings of Power Season 1 episode 5. Para panelis kita hari ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV. Kaki review kita Munif Malek. What's up bro, how you doing man?
Apa khabar semua? Salam sejahtera. Let's get the show started.
Seterusnya kaki komik kita dan juga kaki Lord of the Rings, Luan Yakuza.
Lawa t-shirt bang.
Lawa t-shirt.
Cantik baju.
Itulah. Kena my man, Hugh Jackman.
Dan seterusnya adalah kaki drama kita, Jamal Raslan. What's up bro?
Buat drama tu.
Baik.
I survived this shit.
Gila, abridged. Is that a abridged version?
No, it's not the right version. It's basically dibukukan. It's just dijilidkan bersama with all the
wow appendix.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so sebelum kita mulakan perbincangan kita tentang The Rings of Power malam ini, kita akan bincangkan berita terkini yang paling hangat sekali hari ini. Alright, so berita terkini kita hari ini adalah tentang pengumuman Deadpool 3 oleh Ryan Reynolds. Secara selamba badaknya, dia memuat naikkan satu video di YouTube, di semua social media dia. Dan tiba-tiba ada Hugh Jackman, and then tiba-tiba kata ada Deadpool 3. 6 September 2024. So, apakah reaksi satu ayat korang atau apa pendapat korang? Did you ever expect this shit? Kita mulakan dengan kaki komik kita Duan. What the fuck weh? Silakan.
One word je. Snitch. Gila lah. Dia memang macam mana nak cakap, dia macam too much information. Sebab apa tau, sebenarnya bagus Ryan buat macam ni. Sebab dia lagi bagus dia buat macam ni daripada dia join season 3. Kalau di season 3 ada banyak sangat line up filem tau. So nanti benda ni tak hype, faham tak? Sebab benda ni bagi aku dah sangat hype. So biar dia stand alone. So dia tak payah join dia seorang saja dah boleh buat satu the internet. Broad di internet macam tu lah. Jadi gila. Kau bayangkan dalam beberapa tahun ni, beberapa kali Ryan ajak Hugh berlakon dengan dia memang tak nak. Kau buat macam mana pun, dia tolak secara baik. Sampai dia desperate, dia ambil gambar Hugh Jackman, dia tampal kat muka. Punya desperate dia. Tapi yang pelik, diorang kawan baik. Kat dalam ni, dia boleh panggil Hugh Jackman jalan kat belakang macam tu ya. Itu bagi aku tak convince lagi. Sebabnya dia dah biasa Hugh Jackman tolak dia. So aku rasa takkan kot saja gimmick ni kan. Sekali bila tadi baru aku tengok minit tadi, yang Hugh duduk sebelah dia boleh borak-borak, censored je, aku macam this real, this gonna happen lah. Aku rasa kalau MCU make this right, it will gonna be bigger than No Way Home. Seriously. Dia OG. Ni baru OG. Original caster. Aduh.
Terbaik. Alright, seterusnya Munif, apakah pendapat kau the first time you heard this shit pagi tadi? Silakan.
Masa aku bangun pagi tadi, saya biasalah check Facebook dulu kan. Lepas tu dia tengok ada benda apa nampak video, nampak thumbnail buat Ryan Reynolds kan. Lepas tu orang kata Deadpool 3 macam another macam fan-made video, tak bodoh mana lagi edit kan. Lepas tu saya tengok tu beribu-ribu orang like and share semua kan. Lepas tu macam takkanlah ramai sangat macam termakan lah, macam fine I'll bite lah, whatever lah, tekan lah kan. Lepas tu tengok, lepas tu okay, this is betul Ryan Reynolds punya video. So dia duk cakap mampu duk monolog, last kali we had nothing lah benda semua kan. Tiba-tiba macam, so Hugh nak berlakon sekali lagi tak? Dia beri macam, what the fuck? Benda ni betul lah. Aku terkejut. Serius. Sebab random gila babi ya. Tapi kalau aku boleh bagi reaksi satu ayat pasal this announcement kan, aku boleh cakap Marvel needed this lah. Marvel definitely needed this. Sebab aku tak ingat bila the last time kau tengok general online chatter pasal Marvel ni positif tau. Sebab macam yalah orang duk divided pasal latest punya content, inilah benda semua kan. Duk side track pasal social issues lah, pasal benda-benda tu lah kan, yang had nothing to do with entertainment kan. Tapi bila datang news ni, aku rasa macam transported back to pre-endgame yang Marvel dengan era tau. Bila semua orang macam duk hype pasal jalan cerita dia apa, karakter ni nanti nak jadi macam mana kan ni, what's the plot, what's the rivalry, siapa boleh jadi villain tu dia orang dua ni. So aku rindu that kind of buzz tau, that pre-endgame punya buzz kan. So tiba-tiba ni macam a blast from the past lah, rasa macam tu balik, with people cakap about, bagi aku lah, the things that matter in a comic book movie lah. Kalau ada macam tuan cakap DOG Hugh Jackman, dia literally from the first X-Men movie, the movie that started it all kan, and sekarang berapa puluh tahun kemudian he's back dengan best buddy Ryan Reynolds, yang kita memang tahu dia orang ada chemistry, like even bukan kata acting punya chemistry, from daripada luar because they're best friends. So kau fikir the possibility memang endless tau, boleh jadi whatever the possibilities is, this movie Deadpool 3 is going to be a smash hit tau. Aku rasa, aku tahu agak early untuk cakap macam ni, tapi benda ni has been something yang practically everyone has ever wanted tau. Semua orang nak tau. So bila announcement ni finally keluar, and macam it's as if, tahu macam contoh Mephisto tapi benda tu tak jadi, macam clickbait lah, kena boner lah, kena ni semua kan. Tapi ni one of those things yang nak tengok Ryan Reynolds dengan Hugh Jackman sekali, macam you know, one of those, yalah nak lah, tapi macam jadi ke tak tu whatever kan. But this is one of those things yang orang lama speculate, lama minta, and bam, jackpot, jadi tau. So again, that's the buzz yang kita dapat dari online chatter, and aku reiterate kan, Marvel needed this, and agreeing dengan Duan juga, it's actually, dia dapat random tapi bijak sebenarnya, dia tak cluttered dengan D23 tu. Dia bagi news ni lagi stand out tau. Lagi-lagi bila competition pun tak cakap apa. Lepas tu kita tahu macam DC nya fandom pun dah tak ada kan. Lepas tu, and even D23 pun orang kata hamba, sebab macam banyak expectation tak sampai, banyak announcement yang kita expect kalau tak keluar. So yang bijak, dia orang disassociate daripada D23. So orang dah expect bulan bintang situ, and then ramai yang disappointed. So tidak di tempoh calm ni, bila dia buat dia punya announcement, dia memang king of the news lah hari ni. Siapa nak challenge apa ni? All eyes on me tau. Memang dia random tapi dia bijak gila. So yeah, aku am absolutely thrilled with the news. Marvel needed this, I needed this, and if for the first time in a long time, really looking forward to what's ahead now. Serious.
Nice. Jamal, bukan Logan dah mati ke dalam filem Logan? Macam mana dia datang balik ni?
Cuk, sebelum aku jawab soalan tu, aku dah speculate how it could be dalam group tadi. Ada orang punya bunyi, korang ada dengar bunyi ekstra tak? Bunyi korang punya kipas. Oh, bunyi kipas. Kipas apa? Kipas Duan ke kipas Munif?
Rasanya
I see, right, cool.
Ya.
Because aku ingat aku
Kipas tu?
Cuba try tutup. Dia macam bunyi burung atau tikus.
Yeah.
Aku dengar lagi, tapi mungkin
ada lagi siap.
kipas Duan ke?
Tak, Duan tengah mute sekarang. Duan tengah mute, so tak
then
Jangan fitnah.
tak, aku tak perasan komen. Sebab aku bukan ni. Okay, alright, tak apa. Bukan Logan dah mati ke? Teori aku kat dalam group tadi lepas aku tengok video tu adalah this could be something this could be done in a way where dia tulis cerita tu dan cerita tu takes him back to a certain point in time. So the moment it takes you back to a certain point in time tu, and then during that certain point in time, dia mungkin retcon / establish the connection of Logan and whatever X-Men universe previously from Fox and bring it into the MCU. So let's go back to Deadpool 1 punya story. It starts with him sitting on top at the divider, ke tebing flyover tu kan. And then dia lompat, and then all the action sequences happen. But before that happened, kan dia cerita, okay, how did I get here? But that was the shorter one. So it could be doing the same thing, and then cakap, oh, so this is how I got here. And then bila dia flashback tu, that's when Logan appeared. So when they flashback to a point in time where it is the timeline yang Logan tak mati lagi lah. So then he continues on, he comes back to the present time in the film and continues the story up to the point where then Logan dies. So it could be that. I mean
Fox X-Men verse. This will be the MCU.
Tak tu yang aku cakap tu. If they do it that way, that's where they retcon / merge the Fox punya universe dengan Marvel punya universe. So case in point, kalau kita tengok No Way Home ataupun Doctor Strange and any other films yang ada quick flashback or travel through time atau travel through multiverse, and they wanted to pay homage to these previous universes yang dah pernah ada. Contoh terbaik is No Way Home lah. The way they pay homage is by acknowledging that okay, ni existed, tapi we cherry pick from which universe you guys are coming back from. So kalau kebetulan is the universe that you are coming from tu adalah universe yang dah pernah wujud, to make it easier, which is the Logan Fox punya X-Men universe, then that would be the story that they are referencing lah. Faham tak? So that is a technique or a storytelling device that they could use. Itu je. So tapi kalau kau tengok No Way Home tu, dia tak directly acknowledge that those universes existed. So it could be done in a similar manner lah. So you just pay homage. Macam contohnya kalau contoh, an example, there's a Wolverine topeng coklat, there's a Wolverine topeng kuning. Okay? And then lepas tu, what happens is they go back to a time where dia pakai Wolverine topeng coklat. Okay, so it doesn't directly reference the Fox punya X-Men universe, betul lah. Tetapi dalam flashback tu, Wolverine topeng coklat, Logan mati. Tetapi the mati is a symbolic death because it wanted to say we are making a callback to a previous Wolverine scene, and then in the flashback that Wolverine dies. So we are not going to see this Wolverine anymore. But this is symbolically saying that yes, Fox X-Men universe, we acknowledge you, and in this flashback, this Wolverine dies. It means that either which is the Fox punya X-Men multiverse is gone. But we pay homage lah. Something like that je. So that can work. Either that or they just go back to a point in the story where they flashback, masa tu Wolverine ada. It's a half an hour punya scene or flashback, and then they part ways, and then he comes back to the present time, and then he goes and say, I need to look for Logan. I need to look for Logan, for Wolverine. Dia pergi cari-cari Wolverine and then jumpa the last person that saw Logan before Logan died and say, oh, Logan's dead. Habis lah. So you get to show Wolverine in working with Deadpool, specifically Jackman punya Wolverine, and then it is still a Deadpool present day punya film. That's it. It can be done. Of course, we do not know which story and knowing Marvel, dia akan suka refer straight ataupun direct or indirectly to a story that is already in the comics, because that is how they make sure that they do not veer away from the comics. So kalau dia nak buat apa yang aku cakap ni, kenalah cari komik dan apa-apa storyline yang masuk dengan tu. That being said, the previous two Deadpool punya films tak ikut komik langsung. There is no one to Fox kan. So there is no one comic tale that they're doing that they pull from, and Marvel MCU memang suka tarik. It's very referential. They suka refer to a specific comic, and then they just cleaned it up for the Marvel universe to make sure that the continuity tak lari. So it's somewhere in between lah. Aku okay je benda tu. It could be that. Or it could be a fucking troll. It could really be a fucking troll. Wolverine appear macam in a 10-minute scene, and that's it. That's about it.
Janganlah, babi, janganlah.
I mean, he is smart enough to not do that. But if they are doing this with Marvel's blessing, and Marvel is letting them do what they want to do, that is unlikely. But you know, you never know, because aku certainly do not want Shatterstar the way the Shatterstar punya treatment datang balik. So I think that was a huge letdown for me lah, for Deadpool number 2.
Apa Shatterstar mati?
Itulah. So aku kecewa sangat because while I do not want to see X-Force ahead of the blue and gold teams and or X-Factor and whatever not, I was more than happy to see them bring that. But Shatterstar was like, babi sial, like dude, kesian mama ni.
Literally shatter lah, literally shatter.
Dia totally shatter. Kesian dia. Because for me Shatterstar is a character that did not need to be adapted into live action. They don't lose anything by not doing it. They don't gain anything by doing it. But the fact that they did it, at that point in time, I thought, okay lah, you did not give a bad character lah, because Shatterstar memang ada reputation dengan dalam X-Force during the Rob Liefeld punya days. So I get it. Okay, kalau kau nak bagi Shatterstar, visually silhouette dia cantik apa semua. So, and he's different. Kalau kau tak bagi Shatterstar, kau kena bagi Sunspot atau Warpath. You cannot give anyone else. And Ghost Boom Boom, yes. Ghost Boom Boom. Tapi dia bagi Shatterstar, which I'm cool with, and then kau dapat treatment macam tu. So aku macam kimak aku benda. Sial boy. Selamat aku tak kisah. Aku tak peduli pasal Shatterstar. Dia buat macam tu kat Caliban, aku mengamuk. And Caliban is like karakter nombor 23, 24 yang aku suka dalam X-Men. Tapi aku akan ngamuk. So macam
tapi apa yang macam Jamal explain semua tadi kan, macam mana Wolverine will fit in dalam MCU kan. Banyak tadi, aku dah ada satu one word je, variant, tu je. Variant settle lah, tak lah. Ada
storyline tak?
Duan, aku rasakan knowing Ryan, dia akan macam jumpa Logan, is that you? Is it really you? It's been years. Is it really you? Are you not a variant? Are you a variant? Dia akan sebut macam tu because it's Ryan Reynolds, and kita akan gelak, ha Ryan kutuk Loki.
Aku rasa dia akan macam mana knowing Deadpool, macam okay, sekarang ni She-Hulk dah break the fourth wall, Deadpool pun boleh kan. So Deadpool kena up to the game lah, dia kena better than She-Hulk. So dia akan acknowledge semua benda, dia akan cakap macam bodoh selamba, dia kata I've been trying to get this guy for almost 10 years.
Betul kan.
Finally he became my bitch. Macam tu lah lebih kurang kan. So tapi aku rasa kalau dia nak ikut comic book, aku rasa maybe dia tak ikut, dia akan buat cerita baru. Tapi sekarang ni Wolverine 88 tengah rising up lah. Wolverine 88 sebab tu first time Wolverine jumpa Deadpool. Cover dia pun smart juga lah. Kalau dia nak ikut, maybe boleh ikut comic book tu lah kalau tak tadi.
Aku personally I want that one sebab it will then go back to Weapon X, and then it will have a little bit of them back in during the Weapon X program, and I just want to hear Weapon X, itu je. If I hear Weapon X, then I know X-Men is going to be fine. Okay?
Satu lagi soalan ni kan, benda ni Deadpool ni, adakah Deadpool akan jadi yang pertama introduce X-Men ataupun ada X-Men dalam next year? Faham tak? Sebabnya kita X-Men tak tahu tau, tapi Deadpool dah confirm. So adakah Deadpool is Deadpool dan Wolverine ada first X-Men, ataupun next year kita akan dapat X-Men?
Teori aku adalah ni,
Phase 5 dah penuh.
Teori aku adalah ni, Nemo akan introduce mutants, Deadpool akan introduce X-Men.
So satu lagi, sebab aku tak rasa diorang akan buat shoot jadi macam cameo berapa minit apa semua. Sebab macam mana kau bayangkan kau dah confirm tau. Ulang ingat tak confirm main. Dari sejak bila shoot dah duduk sebelah raya berapa orang kan tu, kat situ kau dah nampak dia tak akan ambil jenis sebagai cameo, dia akan buat dia sebagai duo, faham tak? So macam aku rasa dia akan jadi duo, so dia akan top duo Deadpool dengan Cable. Aku rasa Deadpool dengan Cable untuk nombor second punya movie tu aku rasa macam tak sampai sangat. Maybe sebab Cable dia pendek kot, aku tak tahulah. Sekali ni sama-sama tinggi. So maybe kali ni chemistry pun ada, sebab memang diorang kat luar memang kawan, dia memang suruh buat kelas sama, pelancau semua kan. So kat sini aku rasa dia akan fokus dekat duo ni. So kau boleh bayangkan macam mana, tak tahu. Banyak kali Deadpool dengan Wolverine. So seorang serius, seorang tak ambil serius. Tapi ni, so aku mengharapkan dia akan jadi lebih gempak daripada Cable punya duo dan No Way Home. So dia akan jadi tolong lah Becky right. So ni maybe ni last job for Hugh lah. Dia pun cakap sebenarnya dia tak nak datang balik, dia dah hang out the claw, tapi dia sebab Kevin Feige, maybe ni one last time lah. So one last try, make it right lah.
Benda Feige sebab Reynolds bro, Ryan Reynolds.
Kau kena tengok video kedua tu. Dia banyak cakap thank you Kevin Feige.
Yes, Feige sebenarnya.
Itu sebab
We love you Kevin Feige.
Kalau Ryan Reynolds tak bising-bising, kalau Feige kata Feige buat video ni.
Ryan Reynolds ajak dia berapa tahun, dia say no. Nombor 2 dia tolak. Tapi tiba-tiba dia ni, aku rasa memang pagi kata
aku tak nak bagi kredit kat
ada
Fagi.
offer yang you cannot refuse lah. Tak tahu lah apa benda
Tu
kan.
aku tak nak bagi kredit kat Fagi because the offer only came after Ryan being Ryan. Macam Fagi, serius. Kalau aku tak bagi Hugh Jackman, aku tak buat Deadpool 3. Fuck off.
Wah, tak adalah.
But Ryan can do that in the friendliest way possible and you're not gonna be slighted by it. Think about it.
Yeah, betul.
It's Ryan.
Munif, ada apa-apa nak tambah sebelum aku end this segment?
Okay, two things. Yang pertama sebenarnya tadi sebab Jamal banyak cakap saya expose kan. Aku tak tahu, maybe aku juga, tapi kalau kau tengok Ryan Reynolds is wearing a suit kan, tapi macam colourless punya suit kan, betul tak? Aku macam dia teringat macam Deadpool, macam Deadpool punya X-Force punya suit kan, yang monokrom. Tak tahulah.
Itu masa tu diorang Black Ops punya team. Kalau ada tu aku happy sebab apa? Ada Archangel. Yes.
Tak, sebenarnya yang suka pakai tu adalah continuity Munif. Suit tu continuity daripada Deadpool nombor 2. Masa dia lawan dengan final fight tu, dia meletup. So suit dia kena habuk apa semua. Dekat situ start suit dia hitam. So dia just continue pakai suit yang hitam tu lah. So macam S-Force lah. Apa yang dia dah cuci balik, so dia biar hitam. Macam S-Force lah.
Okay. So the second thing aku nak tambah is aku nak chip in pasal macam mana ni aku punya teori Brazil, teori kerala lah. Macam mana dia pernah introduce mutant dekat dalam MCU kan. Aku punya opinion je ni, sebab kalau dia nak buat tiba-tiba mutant si drop in to the 616 daripada multiverse ke apa ke, macam itu macam a bit too easy. Lepas tu at the same time kalau dia kata mutant dah ada all along, orang tu macam eternal lah. Macam kenapa mau konflik ni, dia orang tak pernah ada, tak pernah involve, tak pernah tolong apa semua. So aku rasa maybe mutant sih dia boleh introduce based on the reverse snap. Sebab kita tahu masa Hulk buat the reverse snap, dia panggil balik half the population kan. Lepas tu kita tahu dalam MCU juga dah berkali-kali lah the running team where certain characters jadi superpower pasal they were triggered by the power of an Infinity Stone. Betul tak? So macam kita tengok Captain Marvel, kita tengok Wanda, Pietro semua kan. So maybe masa Hulk an amateur pakai Infinity Gauntlet snap balik half the population ke dunia balik, dia macam tertinggal some Infinity Stone yang residue tu dalam badan sesetengah humans yang manifest balik. Sebab making human disappear is one thing, tapi manifest them balik with the power of Infinity Stones, ada kebarangkalian tertinggal some residue of cosmic energy dalam badan-badan mereka ni, and benda tu yang akan trigger the X gene. So the guys yang datang balik ni, randomly some of them yang akan tertrigger X gene. So mutant dia bukan multiverse, tapi dia macam baru manifest after the snap. So dari situ baru Professor X pergi duk gather orang buat dia punya X-Men, dia macam baru nak start apa semua lah. So in a way it's a homage to House of M juga macam a reverse House of M. So kalau House of M no mutants, sebilangan yang hilang kan. Yang ni with the snap muncul mutant itu. So it's a homage tapi kind of a reverse kind of way. Tu aku yang teori Brazil lah, tak tahu betul ke tak. But we'll see.
Oh, by the way, ada benda last aku nak mention pasal Hugh Jackman aka Wolverine appear dalam Deadpool 3 ni. Aku tak kisah sangat sebab Wolverine is not a favourite character man. Aku tak suka Wolverine sebenarnya daripada dulu sampai sekarang. So like dia appear for me, Wolverine ada means ada X-Men, that's it.
Tapi beza dengan aku sangat suka Wolverine. So this is it.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
My favorite character of all time. Yes, man. In Marvel, he is superhero. This is it. Make it right. The OG is back, bitch.
Aku just harap kita akhirnya akan tengok Hugh Jackman pakai suit klasik dia.
Betul.
Brown,
yellow
ataupun
the yellow one. Brown or yellow, yes.
Yeah, brown or yellow, please come on.
Ataupun dia pakai yang yellow, tapi yellow yang macam masih jumpa White one.
Yeah. Yang ada whispers tu.
Yeah, man, that'll be the one. Alright guys,
sebab Hak masa dia teringat, aku macam pernah jumpa somebody ya. Dia terus muncul.
Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah berita kini kita ni. Dan sekarang kita akan kembali dengan kita punya session. Kita mulakan dengan reaksi satu ayat.
Ni aku rasa daripada beli kau sebab masa kau main yang Transformers tu, bunyi kipas tu tak ada.
Okay, nanti aku tutup. Anyway, reaksi satu ayat aku, akhirnya NUMENOR baru nak ke Middle Earth. So, apakah reaksi satu ayat anda terhadap The Rings of Power Season 1 Episode 5? Kita mulakan dengan Munif. Silakan Munif.
One word lah boleh kata is intriguing lah. Sebab aku tengok the episode as a whole, so kau nampak banyak, there are many moving parts yang getting to a critical point lah, so to speak. Sebab kita tengok Elrond dengan Durin punya relationship pun macam nak tested lah tu Gil-galad dengan agenda dia. Lepas tu Numenor dengan Galadriel pun dah finally depart on their voyage. Lepas tu the HARFOOTS pun big revelations, Eminem pun dah finally muncul. And itulah yang Arondir punya side pun depa tengah gearing up for battle. Tiba-tiba the truth pasal pedang tu dah nak reveal. So reaksi satu ayat tu is reaksi satu perkataan. It's intriguing pasal finally kau nampak all the plot so dah masuk dalam dia punya third, fourth gear macam tu lah. So shit is starting to pick up. Cuma if there's one thing kau nak kata, kita dah episode 5 right? So it's still macam nothing about the rings in the Ring of Power tau. But tapi with the introduction of Mithril ni, so maybe we are finally getting to that lah kot. Maybe lah. Itulah. So intrigue. It's all moving already. Let's go.
Seterusnya reaksi satu ayat kau Duan. Silakan Duan. Aku dah tutup kipas.
Saya aku
Aku sebenarnya je aku
cepatlah berlabur. Lambat sangat tu. Kena berlabur.
Last episode aku ingat dah gerak Last episode aku ingat dah gerak kan?
Betul lah. Patutnya dah berlabur dah. Dia dah berlabur tu dia boleh bincang, dia boleh berwalah lagi. Tapi bila nak berlabur siap undek. Cepatlah lah dah. Episod dah tak banyak ni, nampak sangat kau memang tak simpan.
Dan aku tak tahu, maybe memory aku tak ni ke, sebab aku ingat masa last episode tu aku ingat dia orang dah macam macam nak jalan kan. Betul tak?
Ya, masa last episode tu dia orang dah macam I volunteer semua bodoh kan.
Volunteer je. Baru
volunteer. So supposedly
lepas
kita assume
dia bukan ada dia
kau dah bilang bola
kita.
Kita assume patutnya the moment episode ni start dah berlabur dah terus.
Ingat
tapi
kan
boleh bincang lagi, kapal meletup, palancor semua cakap apa gila nak berlabur lah. Dah kan. Ini mesti last ujung-ujung pun dia berlabur ni kan. Memang betul celaka.
Memang betul.
Dia memang padding tu. Storyline NUMENOR tu terlalu padded pada pendapat aku.
Betul. Tapi ada dan dia mula punya storyline nak berlabur tu ambil masa satu episod. Yang lain-lain tu aku rasa aku enjoy lah. Macam apa nama yang aku bagi Gandalf lah sebab dia macam Gandalf lah. Yang Gandalf sudah tolong apa semua Nori apa semua.
Gandalf. Betul lah tu.
Aku bagi Gandalf lah kan. Gandalf tolong Nori apa semua. Lepas tu yang macam mana yang Tower People tu nak lawan dengan Orc tu. Lepas tu kau nampak sikit pasal Adar macam mana dia punya ni, apa yang tak puas hati semua. So benda lain satu kau tengok Durin dengan Elrond punya ni macam mana. So benda lain semua bagi aku bergerak cantik. Cuma kapal tu tak gerak-gerak. Itu yang celaka. Dan semua okey. Itu je.
Alright, seterusnya silakan Jamal. Was this episode padded or filler?
Aku tak sure. I don't know. If you ask me, I think it was fine. It was not filler per se. It was not padded. I think maybe they feel that during they nak flesh out the characters tu can only be done before they move on to the journey on the ship. So sebab tu kita rasa macam because they kind of made us feel that they were going to sail at the end of episode 4. I think looking back, kita rasa macam dia nak sail tu is because at that point in time the queen realised okay lah aku kena pergi. Tu je lah. Tapi macam then there are still obstacles that needed to be overcome before you could actually gather everyone. So that's why I don't feel like it's a padding lah, because you take that premise and then you clear up Isildur punya Isildur punya arc. You set it up. So I didn't feel that it was padding, although I felt that macam lah, we are still here ke? I felt that way. So bila aku rationalize, then aku macam faham kenapa macam tu. So aku tak tahu sama ada diorang sedar yang by doing it this way, dia membuatkan kita rasa macam, oh, kau tak belah lagi ke? Oh, okay, faham kenapa kau tak belah lagi. So that feeling aku tak tahu diorang perasan dalam host punya room, and if they did, I don't know if they were fine with it or not. It did not really disrupt my viewing experience lah. So aku tak peduli sangat because aku pergi balik ke Isildur, because there were some meaningful scenes with Isildur just to set up and establish his character arc. Because I have a feeling
sebab tu
dia
dia
punya
tak bertolak. Dia nak tunggu kimak tu naik atas kapal tu, baru dia orang boleh gerak.
Itu ni. And then another one is the fact that I have a feeling his dynamic with his two friends will be important during the sailing.
Yeah.
So it's either when they were sailing in between nak sampai Middle Earth, something happens between them, or in between sailing he has a very meaningful exchange with either one of them, and then bila dah sampai dekat Southlands and then diorang tengah lawan, instead of him dying, it's one of those two friends, which will then be the inciting incident for him to then embark on his journey lah, karakter punya journey, which is to be the king ke apa benda ke. Wallahualam.
Mesti yang kulit hitam tu mati bro. Mesti kulit hitam lieutenant.
Chances are because if you look at how they've shown Galadriel mengajar orang semua, they could have taken any random person to be the guy that she eventually spars with and then manages to get a point off of her. It could be any random guy and the guy doesn't have to come back. But why is it this dude? So means kau nak orang kenal satu, this dude adalah orang yang berjaya tetas baju Galadriel, and then dia kawan Isildur pula. So there has to be a reason why it's this dude, because if the point of that particular scene was just A, nak tunjuk kat diorang kena bersiap, B, dan orang yang mengajar diorang bagaimana nak melawan pedang adalah Galadriel. Sebab apa? Galadriel kena tunjuk yang dia sebenarnya boleh mengajar diorang dan boleh bantu diorang. And then you ada scene Galadriel dengan Halbrand lepas tu, Halbrand or karakter lain, Halbrand. Then it's still sufficient. So why did it have to be that guy? Meaning this is a not shortcut, but this is a way that says, okay lah, kita pakailah balik Mamat ni sebab nanti Mamat ni ... So sebab nanti Mamat ni ... itulah ada potential yang dia akan menjadi penting. So it could just be that lah. So I'm okay with it. Aku personally just rasa the scene masa Isildur terkantoi ada orang nak letupkan kapal tu was a bit rushed, because Mamat yang nak bakar tu punya motivation tak cukup kuat pada aku lah. But other than that, this episode was another solid episode. Dia ni, cerita ni macam Bahtera Numenor. Dia is taking a bit of time. Dia nak naikkan sail, nak tunggu angin semua datang sampai dulu baru dia boleh jalan. But I think we got some meaningful scenes lah in this episode, which I like a lot.
Alright. So dengan itu kita bakal membincangkan 3 plot menarik daripada episod minggu lepas. Okay, jadi segmen pertama kita adalah tentang The Stranger, Gandalf. Dalam segmen ni kita ada 3 soalan, satu untuk setiap panelis. Soalan pertama untuk Munif. Apakah pendapat anda tentang penggunaan magic oleh The Stranger untuk menyelamatkan Nori daripada The Wolves? Adakah ini bermakna bahawa The Stranger is Gandalf ataupun one of the other wizards / Istari yang jatuh ke bumi untuk menyelamatkan umat-umat Middle Earth? Silakan.
So sebelum tu Nick, aku nak tanya, dia tu wolf ke hawk? Babi, macam babi aku tengok.
Okey lah, babi lah, bukan wolf.
Babi betul lah. Okay.
Boleh lah tu. Macam mana? Aku rasa tak tahulah sebab okay, kita tahu actually this instance is a good thing bagi aku, di mana bila show ni dia banyak take dia punya own liberties and tukar things from the law yang kita tahu. So it keeps us guessing tau. Sebab kalau dia orang terlalu faithful dengan the source material pun kita macam dah aku dah tahu dah ni siapa kan. So this is one of the instances where aku rasa agree lah yang the things they change itu memang buat kita guessing lah. Sebab because kita basically tak tahu apa pasal the stranger ni sekarang. Kalau kita nak kata dia definitely Ishtari or wizard pasal dia dah display kepelbagaian kan dalam spells kan. Dia reputkan the trees, bunuh the fireflies, dia buat fire magic tapi dia pun kalis api. Lepas tu dia boleh buat macam Witcher punya art punya spell tu, telekinesis untuk buat shockwave kan. Lepas tu dia pun boleh bekukan air. So that could be either a clear evidence yang dia memang Ishtari, but tapi kita pun tahu juga macam the Maya and the dark forces yang equivalent to Maya semua ni pun dia pun sama macam daripada satu spesies kan. Yang kita tahu Morgoth dan Sauron dia perverts these beings untuk jadi into the dark side. So on one hand boleh jadi Gandalf, but on the other hand this could be dia tunjuk the Maya yang actually gets corrupted into something Balrog ke apa ke. So dia tunjuk dia duk buat kepelbagaian spell tu is actually that's the bait and switch lah kat situ. Sebab dia nak buat kau tengok dia boleh buat ice, dia boleh buat ni, dia boleh buat tu. Ni Gandalf kot, ni gila-gila babi Gandalf kot. Tapi sebenarnya sebagaimana kita tahu Morgoth dengan Sauron ni depa corrupt existing things. So kalau Maya yang kena corrupt akan jadi Balrog. So aku still dengan teori aku daripada awal yang aku rasa the stranger ni akan jadi the base for the first Balrog dalam this show lah, so to speak kan. Tak tahulah, maybe lah kan. Sebab aku rasa terlalu on the nose lah. Kau tak kenapa nak tunjuk dia, oh dia banyak gila spell pasal Asin nak beritahu guys, dia ni Ishtari guys, dia ni wizard serious.
Betul.
Since day one
cara
kan?
dia ban pokok, dia ban pokok semua ikut dia.
Lepas tu of course ni panelis akan cover lah, tapi aku just sentuh sikit. Even masa like Imonem tu datang, dia kalau kau tengok character design dia, kau nampak dia pun ni more tu macam priestess and minions. So what do priestess and minions follow? Kan, some entity yang they would sembah or puja or worship lah, or a force of darkness kan, tak tahulah. So it looks like that, nampak macam tu. So aku rasa dia gila-gila. Kenapa it's no coincidence dia ni nampak macam Gandalf, dia buat macam-macam spell apa semua. Sebab when the turn happens, dia nak kita macam heartbroken and like feel really emotionally impacted bila benda tu jadilah. Sebab aku tak tahu, bagi aku macam dia terlalu on the nose lah. Dia pair dengan HARFOOTS, Gandalf dulu dengan Hobbits. Lepas tu dia pair dengan the cutest creature in the realm, wholesome, nampak dia baik, tunjuk semua jenis spell, semua spektrum, semua elemen dia boleh buat benda semua kan. So takkan dia lah sekali, memang betul since day one memang Gandalf kan. Macam pelik lah kalau pay off dia macam tu kan. Lepas tu dah lah kalau betul-betul itu Gandalf. Lepas tu macam kau cast macam an old looking guy tapi yang bukan Sir Ian McKellen lah. So macam aku tak tahu lah, macam banyak benda it feels really weird kalau memang dia Gandalf lah. Aku rasa it's a big bait and switch. Sebab again aku pegang pada satu prinsip, benda dark beings ni jadi pasal kau corrupt normal punya macam creature or makhluk organism lah. So a Maya or well basically a wizard yang kena corrupt will
itu satu teori yang menarik. I look forward to it panning out eventually.
So the sound comes from Munif punya connection sebab sekarang bunyi tu dah tak ada.
Ya, aku rasa dia sebab Munif. Alright, so pasal Munif terdekat, kita akan ke soalan kedua berkait dengan apa yang Munif cakap tadi. Duan, apakah pendapat anda tentang kehadiran Imonem yang kita nampak dalam overlay ni? Serta dua pengikutnya yang menjejak langkah The Stranger. Adakah Imonem ni sebenarnya Sauron ataupun orang suruhan Sauron? Silakan.
Yo, it's a one shot, one opportunity.
Bodoh.
Scary.
Bodoh.
Masalahnya
Yalah,
imun
Don.
ni
10 points for you, my friend.
tak salah imun ni kau pasal kan. Sebenarnya dia perempuan tu, kau tengok betul-betul Lalik. Aku rasa
Dia
pasal dia
perempuan
semua
tu.
siut. Nampak ada
Laki
buku.
ya. Laki ya.
Aku tak lah, maybe muka dia lebih kurang, tapi aku pasal satu dia perempuan siut ada book tu. Aku macam ada perasan, kalau aku silap tapi aku macam
Dia
ada
perempuan tu,
terperasan.
serius.
Kan benda kan? Perempuan tu pasal tu.
Aku nampak dia perempuan tu, serius.
Lepas tu kita di momok-momokkan yang dia ni seorang sebab apa, sebab daripada trailer apa semua kan. Tak dia ni nobody tu, dia biasa-biasa, dia macam dayang-dayang bodoh ikut ni kan. Tak ada apa-apa pun dia ni sebenarnya aku ingat. Saja tengok muka semua dia punya scene shot tu cantik apa kan. Sekali tak ni tahu pris yang biasa yang keramaian tu lah, cuma dia shot tu nampak macam David nampak sinister lah kan. Tapi kata dia ni bukanlah seorang, dia macam orang suruhan lah. Aku rasa lebih kepada orang suruhan, sama ada baik atau jahat. Lepas tu dia ni, aku rasa dia ni perempuan dan kita ingat dia lelaki. Tak tahu lah kalau seorang tu perempuan kan, aku tak tahulah kan. Ataupun dia ni sebenarnya lelaki, aku salah pandang kan. So kemungkinan dia ni pun sebenarnya tak ada dialog. Dia ada satu scene ni je kan. Tapi kita kena wait and see lah. Ataupun dia adalah watak penting macam si Tio tu ke, yang patut tak jadi penting boleh jadi penting. So kita kena tunggu dan lihat. Tapi kalau ikutkan yang Prince ramai tu, kan dia Prince ramai kejar Gandalf lah, aku panggil dia Gandalf lah. Dia ramai kejar Gandalf. Lain semua duduk atas, dia pergi bawah. So pergi bawah ni orang suruhan je. Maknanya dia sampah lah, level dia. Yang atas ni yang High Priest. Kan?
Dia yang paling kecil, dia intern bro, dia intern. Kau turun sekarang?
Satu kali aku pergi tengok
Kemak
dia jauh lah.
Dia macai je kot.
Betul lah korang.
So kemungkinan dia pun nobody, kita kena tipu dengan trailer kau tahu tak? This is nobody sebenarnya kan. Aku rasa tu je aku nak cakap.
Tak ada, dia buat macam Star Wars. Shit, Daniel Craig ada. Dia Stormtrooper je kan. Macam shit, Eminem ada. Dia Priester je.
Priestess paling macai. Alright, so dengan itu kita akan ke soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini. Untuk Jamal ya, apakah pendapat anda tentang The Stranger yang tengah healing himself tu, dia guna ais dalam air tu dan secara tidak sengaja mencederakan Nori? Is he sebenarnya a force for good or evil? Silakan.
Aku tak tahulah sebenarnya. So aku tak nak speculate langsung to be honest with you. Aku rasa dia adalah a being yang ada kuasa dan he just kena campak kat dalam cerita ni lah, itu je. I did not manage to read Silmarillion before coming on to this bedah. I just did not get enough interest or desire or motivation to do it. And I did not really read on a lot of the backstory. So aku tak ada teori lah benda ni. Aku rasa for me that's not enough. I would even refuse to speculate sebab whatever you are saying after this macam tak ada basis. For example, contohnya katakanlah aku nak cakap, dia ni sebenarnya Gandalf, there's no basis for that sangat. Kalau dia ni sebenarnya akan jadi Nazgul, again there's no basis for that. And then katakanlah dia punya interaction dengan Nori tu akan jadi penting, and to the point that bila he realised that he hurt her atau she was the one that made him realise who he was, and then diorang ada connection. There is not enough of that to give us that impression. Like if there are more scenes between him and Nori, and then kita nampak macam mana dia berjaya belajar bahasa melalui you're not alone, Stomach of Chaos. You're not alone. Kita semua dengar cengkerik. So aku tak sure. So aku tak boleh nak speculate. I feel that he is a force that is reflective of the Middle Earth. So dia tak tahu dia siapa lagi, tetapi because that force is maybe pure magic, sebab itulah Nori kena. That's it. Sorry man.
No worries man, no worries. What about your thoughts yang dia sekarang dah boleh bercakap within the last 4 episodes? Halting English, tapi dia dah boleh bercakap.
I expected it last episode.
Okay.
Tapi sebab dia tak bagi a lot of HARFOOTS punya scenes,
Last episode
it
tak
was
ada.
fair.
Tak ada HARFOOTS
Ah.
scene. Last
So it was fair lah, because at this point everything else and everyone else and everywhere else is already moving at a steady pace and has meaningful progress. So dia tak ada lagi. So this episode par for the course lah aku rasa. So I'm quite glad that he discovered it. Cuma I am expecting, so I was kind of hoping that the HARFOOTS would lead him to a place that only the HARFOOTS can or could, and because he arrived at that place, he then realizes who he was.
Yeah. And harapannya that place is the Southlands. The Southlands.
It will be lah. It will be.
Yeah.
It will.
All of them will go to the Tower of Osterich by the end of the season, nampaknya.
Yeah,
by the way,
they will be within the same vicinity, approximately.
Yeah, Munif.
Tak apa. Bila Munif freeze, dia
Tak ada
suara bunyi tu hilang.
Okay, by the way, kita ada fact check daripada Hadi ya. Pelakon Imonem tu, nama dia adalah Brady Sisson. It's the woman.
Mas Spaghetti. Aku dah agak dah. Perempuan saja ni spaghetti.
Oh my god. Aku selama ni ingat laki tu. Kau tengok overlay dia pun macam laki.
Tak, dia ni sebenarnya dia pengkit tu.
lelaki.
Dia pengkit.
Rambut dia tu, dia punya rambut tu.
It's the eyes and the mouth and the lips.
Yeah. And the nose, man. Looks very male.
Ke kita semua kena troll? Aku nak Silmarillion, Christopher Tolkien tak bagi. Aku nak Eminem, manager dia tak bagi. Fuck it, we will do it on our own.
Tentu lah kan.
Lepas tu dia tengok semua orang sakut benda tu macam, fuck, kita nak troll je sebenarnya. Tapi macam, ya tak apa, biar siap. Let people talk about this.
Alright, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini. Dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang kedua. Alright, so plot menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang Mithril, origin retcon. So, soalan pertama adalah untuk Munif. Apakah pendapat anda tentang retcon yang dilakukan oleh showrunners J.D. Payne dan juga Patrick McKay yang menokok tambahkan origin besi Mithril rupa-rupanya satu logam yang dikuasai oleh Silmaril ketika kilat hit a pokok di mana berlaku pertarungan di antara seorang elf versus Balrog beribu-ribu tahun dahulu. Seems like a stretch. But yeah, apa pendapat kau? This is not in the Silmarillion nor in any of the books. Okay, ini adalah fan fiction ni yang Mithril punya origin. So silakan.
Sebab macam mana aku try tu, okay, obviously get it out of the way lah. Benda ni memang tak ada in any law atau adaptation, faham? Tapi aku maybe cuba nak rationalize kenapa dia pun bersungguh-sungguh buat macam ni. Pasal actually ada lah sebab we know dia pun nak jadikan the light of the Vala tu and very important plot point kan, which aku rasa nanti Jamal akan ulas pasal tu.
Aku rasa Munif terlekat lagi kot. Sama-sama kita nantikan Munif kembali.
Munif kena struck by light of Allah.
Aku rasa there's something wrong dengan connectivity kat rumah dia tonight. Ya, nampaknya Munif cuba kembali. Ya, even the light of Allah punya angle tu pun aku macam But yang tu aku kata Jamal nanti. So cuaca sekarang panas kan?
Oh shit guys. Kita mencelah, Munif tak ada, kita mencelah kesinambungan daripada update dan simbang kita tentang kembalinya Hugh Jackman. Aku nak update satu benda. Ian McKellen will return as Magneto in Secret Wars.
Nanti kata pala tahu.
Tahu saja.
Berlalu. Sumber
tak ni Marvel updates for Marvel. Empat Marvel dia bagi update. 4 Marvel dia bagi.
Macam mana ni weh? Munif masih terlekat lagi lah.
Okay, kita pergi ke Duan punya point lah. Kita pergi
Okay,
ke Duan
kita
punya
ke
question.
soalan Duan. Duan, apa pendapat kau tentang Durin dan lawak yang dia buat tentang Major Elf tu? Oh ni lah
Oh tu.
keranda lah, lepas tu korang buat meja lah. Lepas tu rupanya dia nak bagi kat wife dia je. So silakan pendapat kau tentang Durin dan
Tapi-
Elrond episode ni.
Meja tu pasal apa? Ada signifikan. Dia kata daripada pokok dwarf
Tak ada.
Ada, dia nak
Scene
bagi
masa dia
dekat
tengah
wife
jalan
dia.
dengan scene masa dia orang tengah apa ni? Harung meja tu, lepas tu dia jalan dengan Aaron kat belakang, lepas tu Aaron kata, sebenarnya tak ada apa-apa kan. Kau saja je nak meja tu kan. Lepas tu dia kata, itulah wife aku pun nak meja sebenarnya. Dia dah minta 2-3 kali lah. So tu je.
Itulah. Aku rasa macam tak ada apa dia sengaja buat cerita. Tapi maknanya apa King of Elf boleh kena tipu kan dengan Durin lah. Bodoh je kan.
Celebrate
Senang-senang boleh kena scam.
Pada aku itu menunjukkan yang Elf clearly acknowledges the dwarves punya kearifan tentang batu-batu dan mineral lah.
Tapi tu kayu.
Dan dia tak, bukan, tu batu.
bro.
Tu batu.
Oh batu. Aku tak pakai kayu. Table tu batu
Sebab tu dia kata berat.
Oh okey. Sebab dia punya tu macam kayu. Okey.
Dia
Sebab
macam
aku yang dia
marble.
daripada pokok. Mana
Marble.
apa semua.
Kau tahu marble.
Oh, marble lah. So daripada apa dia kata daripada apa nama bukit atau batu yang
Apa benda dia goreng lah.
yang
benda dia goreng
duduk apa
lah.
semua. Kira ni lah okey.
Memang
So aku rasa benda tu memang aku rasa macam apa nama macam jokes lah untuk tu sebab scene tu tengah tense kan. Diorang tengah letak kan pasal tapi masa kat table tu diorang tak sebut pasal Mithril lagi kan. Tak sebut kan, cuma dia kata dia ada sanksi dengan Durin kan. Dia sanksi dengan Durin, pasal Durin pula tak bagi tahu apa semua kan. So benda tu tengah-tengah ni. Sebab yang tersepit adalah Aaron, dia tengah-tengah. Dia yang tahu rahsia. Tapi dunia King dah boleh sense, dia tahu. Cuma dia nak nak confirmation daripada Elrond je lah. So kat situ selamat Durin ni panjang akal lah. Dia putar balik kaki scammer. Durin ni memang pandai, ada kaki rasuah, kaki scammer, power gila ni. Memang boleh jadi
Ya, kaki rasuah,
Bro, itulah
dia
dwarf
kaki rasuah,
kaya.
kaki rasuah, kaki scammer, kaki pendek. Sorry.
Power Durin ni.
It was the low hanging fruit. I had to say it, man. Sorry guys.
So, aku macam dah suka kat Durin dia sebab dia macam dia
Aku suka Durin tu. It's very
bijak.
nice.
Sebab apa kan, kau pasal kan, dia masuk dekat tempat F, dia tak goyang tau, dia seorang kan.
Betul.
Lepas tu dia boleh lawan lagi, saya boleh cakap lagi, boleh scam lagi, semua percaya tau. Kalau kau tak cukup ilmu di dada kan, kau boleh petang kan F kot, pandai kot. F knowledge tau, knowledge dia power kot. Lepas tu dia macam, dia sepatutnya wise. Tapi Durin ni, dia macam something tu.
Kena
Something,
game.
main lepas support orang, berbual sesi berbual, kau nanti ikut cakap dia.
Duan,
Lepas
tak
tu
payah sopan
seorang
Duan. Durin dia
memang
berkimak, itu je.
memang itu macam celaka tau. Memang di macam celaka. So tu aku macam aku suka gila lah Durin ni kan. Tapi itulah aku rasa macam mana pun Aaron tu tersepit lah. Sebab yelah macam yang patutnya nanti Munif boleh jawab balik lah pasal yang pokok tu kan. Walaupun dia tambahan tapi dia macam ada logik jugalah. Bila dia panah apa semua, lepas tu dia menyalakan semua, dia boleh menyalakan balik pokok dia nak mati apa semua tu kan. So maybe ada connection lah. So macam dia sangat perlukan. Dia nak buat Mithril tu something yang yang penting. Dia tak nak macam Mithril tu just untuk macam baju besi ke, tak nak. Dia boleh jadi something else. Dia tu cakap dia nak Mithril ni macam vibranium tau. Dia boleh jadi macam-macam. Sebenarnya dia boleh buat macam-macam lagi selain daripada setakat nak jadi perisai ke apa. So dia sangat perlukan Mithril tu. Bagi aku bagus lah, bagi aku benda penambahan yang bagus lah. Kau bagi satu benda yang penting untuk Mithril sampai jadi robotan antara elf dengan dwarf. So macam benda ni, kalau tak Mithril ni macam tak ada apa kan. So kau bagi satu sebab yang macam ni sangat penting untuk direbutkan. Tapi macam mana diorang akan jadi gaduh berperang ke, adakah sebab Mithril ni Durin dengan Aaron akan jadi gaduh ke apa ke, kita tak tahulah kan. Hopefully tapi aku rasa macam ke arah tu lah. At the end memang Durin dengan Aaron memang gaduh ke? Kan Durin mati juga nanti kan kat dalam buku ke?
Aku tak baca, aku tak ingat.
Kita nanti Munir jawab. So aku rasa cara Durin tu bijak. So aku nak tengok lagi scene Durin dengan Aaron. Aaron aku geram untuk muka Milih Petik Aries ni. Penyek je. Geram. So aku Munir bersama balik yang tadi.
Alright. Yeah, by the way, Munif, you were saying about Mithril and the light of the Valar. So silakan.
Sebab sambung balik cakap ni, sebab ni berkaitan dengan yang Jamal akan ulas nantilah pasal that conflict about the elves kan. So benda tu hanya akan possible or ada resolution tool kalau ada the Silmarils sebenarnya. Sebab kita tahu lepas the two lambs musnah, lepas tu the two trees musnah, yang yang Fëanor pergi buat the Silmarils dulu tu, benda tu yang dapat capture the old light of the Valar dulu tu. So satu benda tu berharga kan. And as we know, something Tolkien estate, so macam-macam tak boleh nak adapt. So dia perlukan ada that device yang still boleh hold and capture the light of the Valar tu lah. And disebabkan kita pun kita tahu it's no secret daripada compress the timeline sikit kan. So it's no surprise kalau dia ambil that device to capture the light tu, dia gabungkan with an equally important material, Mithril, and up the stakes with this new combination punya substance so to speak. So it's not a direction yang aku dislike, sebab again aku ada empathy for Amazon and the showrunners pasal in an ideal world they would have probably done it a different way. Tapi disebabkan itulah banyak benda tak boleh adapt kan. Kalau kan Silmarils tu tak ada, literally what else boleh hold the light of the Valar kan, tak ada. So sorry lah, they definitely have to invent something, but at least it's not a complete ass pull, tapi dia try relate balik with Mithril lah. So just combine the importance, which aku am okay with lah.
Macam ni lah, aku bagi satu example lah. Dalam minggu ni ataupun minggu lepas itself lah, ada 2 writers tokoh tambah benda, tapi satu aku teruja, satu aku tak teruja. Contohnya Sir Larry Strong, daripada a nobody tiba-tiba jadi boleh bakar abang dia, boleh bakar ayah dia, lepas tu boleh macam minta kerja lagi dekat Queen. Aku suka.
Saya minta reward.
Edition that was never in the books. Tapi bila yang ni, aku macam what the fuck bro, asal tiba-tiba light of the Valar boleh masuk dalam pokok lah, boleh masuk dalam Mithril. Aku macam what the fuck. So both are editions, but one piece me off, the other one make me go like
Tapi sebab tu juga macam that's in, kalau aku without knowing what we know now kan, aku kata macam why would this change be made, and it's not the strongest change so to say, which aku agree to a certain extent. Tapi as far as I know, House of the Dragon tak ada issue with sekatan on things yang dia boleh adapt kan. So macam the Rings of Power, they have that context. So that's why aku, even though ada some changes yang maybe aku tak suka, but I will try to see, that's why macam rationale, why did they do this So dia nak buat the plot about the elves, so the light of the Valar tu makin hilang pada diorang, so they need a resolution tool, which is in the law is the Silmarils. Benda tu je the only artifact yang boleh capture the light from the two trees dulu tu, and that's the only thing, and that thing they can adapt. So aku rasa macam all things considered they could have probably done a lot worse bagi aku lah. So for this is the first season, whatever, it's like, it's, to me it's forgiven, but I agree it's probably not the strongest plot point in the world. Tetapi if not that, then what else? There's literally nothing else yang boleh hold the lights of the trees So I'll give them pass on this. This is one of those changes that I'll give a pass. And moving on again, in typical Amazon fashion, the visuals of masa dia cerita the origin of how the Mithril jadi itu is of course gorgeous. Tunjuk slow-mo, the Balrog tengah rumble dengan elf tu, time tu lah kilat sambal tu. Yang tu visually tak payah kata lah, memang they doing an amazing job. Tapi untuk ulas again about the Mithril yang dah jadi at the center of the conflict sekarang, aku ada very high anxiety kalau ada kawan yang macam Elrond ni. Memang tak boleh simpan rahsia langsung. I know dia pecah di perut lah. Dia tak cerita kan sekali. Tapi bila Gil-galad tanya, kata dia orang ni ada rahsia, ada Mithril lah. Macam aku dah bersumpah aku takkan bagi tahu apa rahsia tu. Oh sebenarnya ada lah. Kalau aku Gilgalad tanya kan, cakap kau Elfi kau tahu dia nak buat apa Allah tu, kalau aku lah kawan sejati kan, apa benda kau mencarut ni? Kau ni Gilgalad ke dah gila galat ni? Mana ada apa? Kau ni
Betul tu. Bila kau bring up kau punya secret punya promise, lagilah macam red flag.
Itulah. Dia aku boleh faham kalau Gilgalad cakap what are they doing? I do not know what they doing. Are they doing something? What are they doing? Ni Gilgalad dia siap tu point dia terus cakap. Dia orang ada Mithril kan. Macam dia sebut benda tu seketul, so it's not vague. He totally fucking knows. Lepas tu macam but I know macam ada Mithril tak? I promise to my friend that I will not tell you that. Okay, thank you.
Betul. Aku pun terfikir sama. Dia macam
Thank you.
yang kau punya benda tu ada. Tapi yang paling best apa tau? Yang paling mana? Gilgalad pun bodoh. Dia pun tak boleh fikir lagi benda tu. Orang tu dah bagi tahu, kau tak boleh fikir. Oh sebenarnya ada. Dia pun macam apa benda. Dia pun bodoh juga. Ella pun bodoh, elok lah dia kau bodoh. Patutlah kena tipu dengan Durin. Elok lah. Dia kau pun bodoh. Apa yang Munif tersekat balik.
Alright, so dengan itu kita akan ke soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini untuk Jamal ya. Apakah pendapat anda?
Hello.
Ya, kau dah kembali.
Tak, kau tahu dalam kepala aku masa that exchange duk jadi kan, dalam kepala aku kan, aku nampak macam mana kan dia kata Gilgalad tu ada daripada Mithril ke tak kan. Aku dah janji aku tak boleh bagi tahu benda tu pada kau. Aku dah janji kau aku tak boleh. Aku
Tak balik. Kamu Munif, come on.
Biar dia habiskan apa yang dia nak cakap ni. Biar dia habiskan. Lama kat dia.
Kamu Munif, come on. Aku rasa Munif tak pasal.
Sorry, internet rumah aku memang just sial ni. So basically okay. aku empathize lah. Aku faham. Pasal this plot point aku empathize, aku faham. Cuma aku cakap kalau korang ada kawan macam Elrond tu berjaga-jaga lah. Janganlah bagi tahu rahsia. Nanti kantoi kau walaupun dia technically tak cakap.
Aku tak boleh
bagi tahu. Aku dah bagi tahu ada benda ni tapi aku tak boleh bagi tahu benda ni. Kawan aku tu.
Itu lah kan. The worst. Tak, yang kelakar je kawan dia pandai menipu. Dia tak pandai menipu.
Itulah.
Kawan dia scammer pula. Tapi dia dah okay kan sebenarnya kan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tapi lepas tu dia dah come clean atau macam okay, so tak aku personally would have wanted to see that conflict maybe macam simmer sikit tau. Macam alamak macam mudah dia resolve lah. Which is okay, maybe wholesome moment lah. Macam dia tunjuk trust between friends. I can see that angle juga. Tapi we have also love to see them. Weh, aku dah bagi tahu macam ni kan. Kau kantoikan juga. Tapi okay lah, this is it's okay lah to me. Okay. And this retcon pun, I'm not going to say that I'm a big fan of the retcon, but this is a change I understand. Because kau dah tanya yourself, if it's not the Silmarils, then what can hold the light? It could be a really more terrible original S-pool. Baiklah dia touch something yang memang dah wujud and which is equally quite important juga kan. So it's okay, I'll give it a pass lah basically. Yeah.
Alright. Jamal, soalan untuk kau, apakah pendapat kau tentang the retcon, not about the Mithril holding the light, tapi the elves needing the light, or not they will all die out. Like sejak bila? You're gonna have another 3 to 4,000 years on Middle Earth. Kau tak mati pun. Tapi dalam siri ni, diorang terpaksa mati kalau diorang tak dapat Mithril. Is this
next spring kan? Next spring mati.
Next spring. Adakah ini penipuan oleh Gilgalad ataupun do they really need Mithril to survive?
I don't know to be honest, because there is not enough information for us to come to a conclusion lah, or to macam make an educated guess as to where, because from the way they are showing, giving us everything, dia the script is telling us information atau bagi kita exposition bila dia rasa okay, kita perlukan exposition ni. So aku highly doubt that benda ni adalah red herring and then sebenarnya benda tu lain. Especially dia tak nampak scene-scene yang dia set up karakter yang tipu tau. Dan bila dia buat scene-scene macam tu, kau nampak. Contoh scene Halbrand sebelum dia decide nak pakai armor, dia duduk kat dalam dia punya Smith punya bilik tu. Lepas tu dia reflect on what Galadriel was telling him. Lepas tu dia ambil balik apa dia punya loket yang Galadriel bagi kat dia, dia letak balik atas meja tu. Lepas tu kamera pan ke bawah, which is deliberate, you know that's film language, means dia tahu memang dia memang nak audience tengok situ. And then sometimes you will get that nothing happens. Camera just nak pan on that locket and then nak kita linger on that locket to say that okay, this is an important thing. This is an important thing. But what happened was kita nampak ada orang jalan, tangan dia ambil benda tu kan. So this for the past 5 episodes, bila dia nak buat babak macam tu, dia bagi kita babak-babak tu. So kita tak payah nak fikir oh benda ni adakah dia akan nak bagi twist kita later. Tak. Siri ni macam kita orang tak nak surprise kau sangat. Bila kita nak bagi tahu kau fakta, kita exposition. Bila kita nak bagi tahu kau clue, kita bagi crumbs. That's it. Kita tak ada macam nak try to be clever with the bloody story. So I don't think yang Gil-galad akan tipu dia. Because prior to that, we did not have a scene where Gil-galad was talking to Elrond, or Gil-galad on his own discovering Mithril, or discovering the leaf and then leaf tu nak mati. We don't have anything of the sort to set up that there is going to be some kind of two-face ataupun double speak from Gil-galad atau from anyone from the elves. And kau tengok Gil-galad, all the scenes yang ada Gil-galad and all the scenes where the elves are interacting with each other are very consistent. Aku cakap dengan kau macam ni, kau cakap dengan aku macam ni. Dan bila kita bercakap, benda tu full of flair dengan sastra dan benda tu serius. Dia tak ada gurau-gurau. So aku tak, except for the scene yang introduce Elrond yang dia tengah tulis benda dalam buku nota dia duduk atas dahan pokok tu. So other than that tak ada. So aku tak rasa lah, aku tak dapat impression yang Gil-galad ni dia nak menipu. Makanya at this point, benda tu serius lah. So kalau benda tu serius, then kita kena pergi ke your point dengan Munif punya point di mana okay lah, ini korang condense, lepas tu korang nak buat cerita korang sendiri, bla 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 bla. And then benda tu pula pelik sebab benda tu nampak sangat yang korang pandai-pandai buat cerita sebab korang tak boleh pakai Silmarillion. Now, when we go to that point, aku mungkin sebab aku writer, aku boleh rationalize the basic sikit. But what I feel is simple. Aku rasa yang diorang ni I haven't seen enough for me to conclude, because diorang ni punya storytelling style adalah aku tunjuk sikit, then habis season 1 baru kau tahu. Dan in fact, as a matter of fact, tak ada banyak sorok sangat pun. Apa yang kau tahu adalah kau tahu pada ketika itu sebab there are two characters talking about it. Itu je. So they're not trying to outsmart us, they're not trying to give the impression that they are smart. Jadi kalau writing macam ni, aku dah malas nak fikir, aku malas nak speculate. What I will do, I will watch. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I'll go like, and then aku akan petik, episod 3 pun boleh buat macam ni, episod 2 boleh buat macam ni. So aku bebas lah, aku tak ada kekangan. That said, korang punya teori yang apa sal dia orang ubah, dia orang nak condense dia punya timeline. Whatever they did with the change, and I'm going back to the to their Wikipedia, to the Wikipedia for this series. You can say lah, petik Wikipedia ni source yang bagus ke tak bagus daripada aku dengar cakap korang. Wikipedia ni bila orang upload dia akan letak, bila orang update dia akan letak the link. So the link tu akan ada orang kat dalam Wikipedia check yang kita dah bayar RM10 tu kan bila dia minta ihsan tu kan. So orang tu tolong check juga. So anyway, clearly kat dalam ni dia dah cakap bila dia buat background, whatever that they were doing. Ni I read line for line daripada dalam daripada dalam Wikipedia. Special effects, bla 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 bla. Okay. Where was that? Okay, basically dia kata the Tolkien estate was alright and approved all changes they've made to the actual law as per Silmarillion. I'm still looking for that particular paragraph.
Which is this retcon lah yang
Which is one of them is this retcon lah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this particular bit. This is very important. Dia kata, okay, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit was set during the Third Age, while the First and Second Ages were explored in the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, and History of Middle-earth. Because Amazon only bought the rights to Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, writers had to identify all of the references to the Second Age in those books and create a story that bridged those passages. So these are primarily in the appendices of the Lord of the Rings, but also in certain chapters and songs. Tolkien estate was prepared to veto any changes from his established narrative, including anything that contradicted whatever Tolkien wrote in other works. The writers were free to add characters or details and work with the estate and Tolkien law experts to ensure that this was still Tolkienian. They referred to the letters that Tolkien wrote about his works for additional context on the setting and characters. Simon Tolkien, a novelist and grandson of J.R.R. Tolkien, which is the son of Christopher, consulted on the series and helped develop its stories and character arcs. He is credited as series consultant. The showrunners disagreed with suggestions that the series was only vaguely connected to Tolkien's writings. McKay said they felt it deeply connected, and a story we are still reading was here before us and was waiting in those books to be told. A disclaimer featured in the series end credits stated that some elements were inspired by, though not contained in, the original source material. Lepas tu, because they was not mostly able to adapt direct dialogue from the Tolkien Second Age stories, the writers attempted to repurpose Tolkien's dialogue that they did have access to, while also taking inspiration from religious texts and poetry. They tailored dialogue to different characters using dialects and poetic meters. The biggest deviation made from Tolkien works, which was approved by the estate and law experts, was to condense the Second Age from thousands of years to a short period of time. This avoided human characters frequently dying due to their relatively short lifespans, and allowed major characters from later in the timeline to be introduced earlier in the series.
Sebab tu.
Yeah. So
Numenor tu 300 tahun je sebelum Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
Galadriel 3,000 tahun.
1000 tahun. So aku punya sekarang ni adalah, okay, right now what I'm looking for in the series after reading this last week was, I want coherence. If I get coherence, meaning daripada episode 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, character development from episode 1, 2, 3, 4, season 1, 2, 3, 4, as long as there is coherence, I am fine. Because that passage, which is linked to another article, clearly says that the Tolkien estate and the law experts tau. So makanya the Tolkien punya estate kata, okay, kau tak boleh refer directly to Silmarillion, tapi benda yang korang buat ni in spirit of Tolkien, kita orang approve. So siapa yang nak kata ini bukan Tolkien, kita orang tak peduli, and to the showrunners and the production team, fuck off, kita dah tak kisah. If we don't feel that it's Tolkien enough for us because we have a different connection to Tolkien based on our own reading, itu tak boleh buat apa lah. Itu kita boleh maki sampai kiamat lah. Dan we will always be right because we are commenting on how we connected with Tolkien, as opposed to what the showrunners wanted to do and what the Tolkien estate felt about what they wanted to do, and what the Tolkien estate allowed them to do, to the point that dia tak lari, at least in spirit, even though dia lari secara fakta. So bila benda tu dah jadi macam tu, kita nak bising apa? Aku tak boleh bising apa-apa. So dan since aku tak baca Silmarillion, aku lagilah tak boleh kata mana kau nak tukar. In fact, I'm not going to read Silmarillion until after season 1 has ended, because then the discovery would be, oh, so this is what you changed, oh, so this is what you added. Interesting choice. So let's see where it goes in season 2 if I continue watching. So aku nak buat treatment aku punya viewing experience macam tu lah. So dia punya retcon ni, setakat aku tengok episod 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, aku tak rasa canggung. So kalau ada orang yang dah baca Silmarillion and dia rasa canggung, fair point. Aku tak baca Silmarillion, so I cannot agree nor disagree with anyone who has read Silmarillion. As far as I'm concerned,
they don't even have access to Silmarillion.
Yeah, they don't even have access. So they like, kita boleh marah dia orang langgar, tapi kita tak boleh ambil hati dia orang langgar. Kau faham tak? Kita boleh marah dia, kau langgar, kenapa kau langgar macam ni? Tak best, sebab macam tak real. Itu fair. Sebab apa? Kalau kita baca konti lari ke, it doesn't make sense. Kejap-kejap macam ada benda ni panah peti, jadikan pokok tu, kuasa tu duduk kat dalam tanah, dalam soil, lepas tu dia jadi batu. Tak logik lah benda ni. Kalau kau rasa tak logik, aku okay je. Personally, aku rasa benda tu tak berapa logik sangat. I would have rather...
Because dalam buku, Mithril doesn't have an origin.
I know, that's the thing.
Convoluted origin.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. So katakanlah dia nak buat katakanlah kalau dia kena explain origin tu, then kau kena tengok from a storytelling perspective within the episode itself. So why did they feel that they have to tell the origin of Mithril at that point in time in the episode? Because dia nak kena benda tu lah yang akan justify kenapa elves nak cari benda tu, kenapa dwarves berada dalam satu konflik di mana diorang kena melombong benda Allah tu, dan kenapa benda tu jadi penting adalah disebabkan the movement yang Adar buat, dan benda tu je yang mungkin boleh lawan Adar. Faham tak? So to explain kenapa benda tu penting, katakanlah tiba-tiba dia kata, kita tengah nak kalah dengan Adar ni, tiba-tiba elf datang. Lepas tu Elrond sampai, lepas tu the dwarf sampai, lepas tu the dwarf tolong menang. Macam mana korang boleh beat Adar? Kita orang pakai kapak kita orang lah. Asal kapak korang kilat dia lain macam? Kita orang tak boleh cakap. Faham tak? So, I feel that
dahulu
beribu kan?
Kilat ni kena pokok.
Ataupun dwarf kata, dah kita orang korek, kita orang jumpa, dia kilat, kita orang dwarf suka kilat, kita orang tak kita orang punya. So, faham tak? So, I have a feeling that they came to that point, and then mungkin dia orang rasa macam, so how do we navigate this particular thing while also maybe serving up a fan fiction or adaptation origin for Mithril in a way that it justifies its importance to the elves and the dwarves and everyone else. Itu satu. But more importantly, kalau kita pergi balik dekat paragraf yang aku baca tu, kita tak boleh ambil, benda tu bukan zero sum game. It does not give any insight whatsoever on how much access to any kind of notes that the production team and the showrunner got. Now, bila Tolkien dengan law experts kata, okay, kita approve, kau nak condense timeline, kau nak buat ni, Mithril punya origin macam ni, dia takkan approve sembarangan. So dia mungkin akan, masa diorang tengah buat benda tu, diorang akan ada enough references to say that kalau kita nak tipu Mithril punya origin ni, kita nak tipu ikut story A, B atau C. So they went with C. And then they justify sebab boleh refer kat buku ni, boleh refer kat chapter ni, and then the Tolkien punya family dengan law expert sampai, okay lah, C tu okay lah, kau ubah sikit-sikit macam ni. Sebab A tak boleh pakai, B tak boleh pakai. So memang kita orang tak boleh bagi pakai. C lebih kurang, and kita orang boleh appreciate sebab kita nampak apa kau nak buat. It could have been that. And lagi satu aku nak tambah faktor yang aku rasa ramai orang tak sebut sebab punyalah julang nama Tolkien ni, and I'm not referring to you guys, I'm referring to all the comments that I read on Facebook. Dia punya julang nama Tolkien ni, kau sebut nama Tolkien, dia tanya kau dah ambil sembahyang belum, kau sebut nama Tolkien, for all I know kan. So point dia adalah Tolkien wrote this book at the end or during the World Wars. At that point in time, the worldview was very different. For all we know, his worldview was very simplistic. And for all we know, the notes that he had is pretty much lebih kurang macam ni je. Oh, Mithril ni, elf lawan dengan orc, elf lawan dengan Nazgul, lebih kurang macam ni. So manalah tahu, the Tolkien estate masa feedback, okay, Mithril origin A tak boleh pakai, B tak boleh pakai, C boleh pakai, tapi C kau kena ubah benda ni. Kenapa kena ubah benda ni? Because we are telling you, kalau kau tak ubah, benda tu salah dan kita orang tak suka. So kita orang tak boleh tunjuk kau notes, but we can tell you this. Sebenarnya Mithril macam ni cerita dia. Ayah aku dah buat notes, tapi dia tak nak note ni keluar. So bila aku tulis Silmarillion, benda ni tak keluar Silmarillion. Sebab apa? Benda tu misteri. But because korang dah letak 250 juta nak buat series ni, aku bagi tahu kat korang ihsan. So bila korang nak buat Mithril punya ni, for all we know, that could have happened. Why? In a production, shit like that takes place all the time. All the time. So I am not telling you it happened. I'm telling you these are some of the possible ways how they could have arrived at the Mithril punya origins, which they will not share lah. Maybe until 5 years later baru don't share, pasal ada orang buat podcast atau interview. So since we have absolutely no idea, aku pun macam, you know what, aku layan je. Kalau benda ni believable, okay. Kalau tak believable, aku bagi 6.5/10, which is my rating for the Mithril punya origin. 6.5/10. I did not find it particularly convincing or compelling, but it has the spirit lah. Oh, the forces of good fought the darkness, and then when their powers collide, it resulted in the lightning that went all the way to the ground and laid the foundation for the next 3,000 years of stories. Cool. I mean, I'm not Tolkien, so I'm cool. So that is what I think about the retcons. For this particular points, kalau kau tanya aku lepas aku baca Silmarillion, will I be happy or not? Definitely, I will not be happy kan. Sebab aku pun writer kak, alah kenapa dia buat macam ni? Kenapa dia tak buat macam ni? So aku macam, Aku tak boleh buat apa lah. Benda ni macam ni. That being said, I can see why they made the Mithril punya origin macam tu lah. They wanted to give weight to it. Because otherwise, benda tu jadi Deus Ex Machina. Atau McGuffin. Kita lawan. Kita kalah. Dwarf datang. Kapak dia berkilat. Kilat dia lain. Yeay, kita boleh menang. Mana kau dapat? Tak tahu. Kita lombor, korang dapat cerita macam tu dalam Tolkien Estate approve dia pakai Silmarillion, korang maki kot. Apa benda sial? Tiba-tiba datang, lepas tu tak explain. Mithril ni datang di mana? Mana magical powers dia? Semua orang akan speculate. Betul lah. So macam aku rasa they felt that apalah kita
zaman Frodo pun they still don't know why it's so good.
They still don't know kan?
But they know it's good. You know?
Yeah. So aku rasa benda tu macam diorang rasa macam mungkin diorang punya writing team adalah a bunch of people yang kata kalau kita letak Mithril ni, kita tak explain dia punya origins, retcon tak retcon, kalau kita tak cerita origins dia, and then masa lawan Adar, kerana Mithril ni lah dia menang. Nanti season 2 ke season 3, bila jumpa Nadzru, kerana Mithril lah dia menang. Lepas tu kata, kena cari je lah Mithril, ada Mithril settle. Then orang akan question lah, mana boleh ni plot lama lah.
Macam atom bomb of the Middle Earth.
The Middle Earth. And then dia jadi plot lama lah. Asal kau ada Mithril, asal ada Mithril kau settle. So I think they felt that okay, for people to accept that we will be using Mithril very strongly and akan pakai buat cincin, armor apa semua, you know what? Kita bagi dia a kind of origin that would make sense. For all we know, okay, baru aku duduk simpan ni, baru terfikir. For all we know, nobody really knows the origins of Mithril. But the elves, being the elves that have heard many things and have gathered many knowledges, they would have known of a thing like Mithril because of this particular fight and incident that happened. So the elf scholars, put 2 and 2 together and just says, this is where Mithril came from lah, based on their own research after thousands and hundreds of years. The dwarves wouldn't know about this, and this knowledge is just within the elves lah. Sebab itulah dia boleh cerita macam ni, kita nak mati minggu depan. Tapi mungkin sebenarnya tak macam tu. So kita boleh tengok sampai episode 5, dan it might just be there lah. This might just be a knowledge that is within the elf punya circle yang tak validate lagi. And since elf adalah antara yang paling tua, semua elf cakap ni betul lah. So kita pun percaya je. So for all we know lah, that could be another ni.
I am okay with the first retcon, iaitu the origin Mithril. Tapi yang kalau kita tak dapat Mithril kita akan mati, I think that is too much pada aku.
I'm fine with that. Aku personally aku tak tahu nak react macam mana. Bila dia kata benda tu, I get it because that is the storytelling device lah. For me, it just needs to be explained to all of us kenapa kalau Mithril tu tak ada, elf mati, and Mithril is the only way to destroy atau to kill the infection that is affecting the elf tree. Kalau kita tak dapat benda tu, kalau kau tak dapat benda tu ni dan kau nak marah, that is fair. Sebab alang-alang kau dah bagi back kau dah reka satu origin untuk Mithril. Alang-alang baik kau cerita terus macam mana Mithril boleh menyelamatkan kau daripada benda daripada malapetaka ni. Alang-alang akan mati.
What?
Yeah. So kalau dia tak cerita benda tu, then aku akan personally macam, no, sorry, pangkah. Sebab kau bagi benda ni tak ada origin. Kau sengaja nak bagi origin sebab kau tahu benda tu perlu. Lepas tu kau tak habis tutup. Kau tak habis simpul. Tak boleh lah. Kita tak, we're not supposed to just accept the fact that the elves will die without the Mithril.
Tiba-tiba elves ada legacy virus macam mutants.
Tiba-tiba itulah pasal.
What the fuck?
The issue is not whether they get a legacy virus. The issue is, okay, kalau dia kena ada legacy virus, kau kena cerita lah kenapa dia kena ada legacy virus and kenapa Mithril diselamatkan. Kalau kau tak cerita benda tu, then dude, come on. So at episode 5 I don't have enough lah. So aku rasa macam okay, alright, apa yang korang dah buat is approved by the Tolkien Estate. So sekarang aku lagi senang kerja aku. Aku tengok, kalau aku tak suka, aku tak suka. Because I have no loyalty to Tolkien.
Betul. Okay guys, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang terakhir. Plot menarik kita yang terakhir adalah tentang the humans, Numenor dan Southlands. So kita double heroes kat atas ni, Galadriel daripada Galadriel dan Halbrand yang terlekat kat Numenor, now on their way to the Southlands. So soalan pertama adalah untuk Munif ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang plot di Numenor dipanjangkan dalam episod ini? Pendek gila. Galadriel ajar Numenor main pedang lah, Isildur nak guna nepotism join expedition lah, Farazon buat plot di sebalik tabir, anak dia pergi bakar kapal. Aku macam what the fuck is all this shit? Korang dah voting tu pergi je lah babi. So silakan Munif, silakan. I think you're on mute, bro. I think you're on mute.
Okay. Pada pendapat aku rasa the composition of the episode or the scenes was kind of weird for me sebab last episode nampak macam yeah let's go kan. Lepas tu I could have sworn I saw some kapal-kapal move around lah apa benda semua kan. Lepas tu tiba-tiba belum kan. So okay, that's fine sebab aku rasa last episode aku pun expected yang diorang takkan make landfall lagi. But aku ingatkan they're gonna have conversations on the sea ke apa benda kan. But rupanya diorang tak leave lagi. But in the end it'll amount to the same thing lah. Mereka akan make landfall not at this episode which I totally expected. So that's fine. But itulah macam mana. I think it's no secret that I'm not a big fan of the depiction of the Numenorians in this series lah. Maybe salah aku lah because of all the reading I did, aku dah overhype the Numenorians kan. So bila tengok Halbrand tu belasah 5 Numenorians, Galadriel sumbat 4 Numenorian guards bukan civilians masuk dalam sel. And then this latest episode, and I thought I hated the cave troll kena tai chi dengan dia seorang tu. So little did I know.
Dia boleh lempang 6 tu. 6 ke 8 dengan pedang. Gila lah.
And dia lempang 6 ke 8 and only one guy managed to put a scratch on her tau. Macam aku macam mana, it begs the question, why were you guys allies with the elf in the first place? Kau ni sekadar jadi cannon fodder dengan human shield ke sebab sampah sangat during the war kan. Macam okay, this is aku tak tahu if it's a retcon ke just a bad depiction, tapi aku memang tak suka lah sebab we know they were awarded the island of Numenor in the first place pasal dia punya excellent service in the war against the forces of darkness. And dia boleh datang, these fuckers don't know how to fight orcs. So. Macam, are you kidding me? That shouldn't be the case. Even dalam tempoh, even in macam years of peace pun, takkan je tak ada syllabus kan to keep the knowledge rolling ke apa benda ke. Macam, as unbecoming of a superior race of humans in one of the greatest kingdoms of men kan. Macam tak tahulah, I basically did not like all that. It's just more
maybe in times of peace diorang dah tak pandai berlawan ke. In times of peace, hundreds of years.
I mean for the fucking Southlanders and all these morons yang bukan Numenorians tak apalah sebab dia bukan apa macam ni. Why aku berharap that they stick to making Numenor still great. There's the thing about Numenor is that dia punya moral compass kau boleh question lah. But their badassery will never be in question. And kenapa? Because that differentiates them from the other kingdoms of men. Sebab aku punya problem macam ni. Yes, maybe this hate is coming from the fact yang aku quite well versed with who or what the Numenorians are, faham? But aku fikir aku put on, katalah aku imagine if I am a casual reader kan, and aku tengok the Numenorians are like this, then aku takkan faham why are these guys so central to the plot. Faham tak? You get what I mean? I mean, kalau yes, aku macam like World War Z, aku menyesal baca World War Z and watch the film because I didn't like the film. If I could, aku tak nak baca World War Z, then tengok the film, enjoyed it, and then read the book, and then enjoyed that. If I could turn back time, man. So I know it's the same thing with the Ring of Power and how they depict the Numenorians. Tapi tu aku imagine, even if aku go in blind, then aku akan question, apa macam they're just another moron kingdom of men, cuma dia ni macam kaya sikit tau. What's the big deal about these guys and go through all this drama with them just like to bring 3 fucking ship to Middle Earth So macam I would be very confused if I did not read, but as a reader I am let down. So I say yang I'm actually starting to enjoy the HARFOOTS more than the Numenorian punya story.
3 episod lepas kau benci HARFOOTS. 3 episod
But tahu tak apa, and that is saying something tau. That's saying something. Aku je tak tahu. This is just personal preference tau. Aku tak suka you have all these cool characters tapi dia jadi kayu api untuk menghypekan lagi Guy Ladriel. I mean, we get it. She's a badass. She is like all this. Tapi janganlah buat Numenorian sampai macam tu sekali. Janganlah sampai sudah lah tu. Civilian dia kena belasah. Dia punya prison guards pun kena belasah. Sekarang these guys who are the new generation of armies pun kena belasah. Like literally kena, kalau wrestling dia panggil dia squash match tau. You know macam Santino Marella masuk dalam ring kena big boot dengan Kane terus kalah tau. That's not Numenor tau. Tapi this is how you use them. So satu macam even kalau aku tak baca pun the books or whatever and watching this series blind, aku macam so what's the big deal with this fucker? So dah lah jahat, dah lah racist, tak terror pula tu, kapal pun sikit. Whoa, why are we going through all this trouble kan? It's more trouble than they're worth bila kau tak tunjuk dia badass. You can fuck with the moral compass because yes, moral compass yang tu sampai di Civil War sama dia orang ada the believers and the non-believers apa semua kan. But mereka semua badass. That bagi aku shouldn't change. Satu, and aku bukanlah macam some law punya purist ke apa, sebab kalau kau tengok yang session kita sebelum ni yang baru kita bedah tadi tu, aku okay with the change. So bagi macam Mithril tu, that doesn't take away anything from the story. The Silmarillion pun dia orang tak boleh adapt apa semua, it's fine. These are changes, that's fine. But there is literally no reason to pussify Numenor. No reason.
Yeah.
But that is what's being done. So macam I don't get it. Aku kena seriously, aku try tak nak compare dengan buku. But if I didn't read the book, I'll be asking what's the big deal with these guys.
Ya, kenapa dia orang diagungkan sangat. Betul.
So macam tak lah, macam but that's the thing. Aku dah sampai lagi suka, lagi excited nak tengok the HARFOOTS yang cerita dengan The Stranger kan. So
HARFOOTS pada menyanyi, okay? HARFOOTS pada menyanyi.
siap jadi lagu end credit.
Montage.
So kau bayangkan adalah HARFOOTS lah tu, dia Indiana Jones style montage dengan lagu dia ni apa semua, tapi macam I dig that. Give me that any day over sedozen Numenorians kena tibai dengan Galadriel macam tu sampai tak boleh nak cala dia sekali pun. So but that's just me lah. That's just me. I just personally really do not starting to really hate this Numenorian punya angle sekarang. And aku harap they just end it quick, cepatlah sampai landfall and cepatlah semua orang Numenor ni mati so that Galadriel yang dia seorang boleh bunuh beratus-ratus orcs. Let's just get to that cepat, get this over with, because I do not want to see the Numenorians anymore. I'm so over them. Itulah, and I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with Isildur lah, but hopefully he finds his footing and backbone cepat sikit, because daripada this conflicted guy who will know will become great, he's starting to become a fucking annoying teen now sekarang. So hopefully he gets
dia nak masuk expedition tu guna nepotism bro. Maksudnya even masa dia muda he wants to attain power without
kan dari dulu dah tease perangai dia tu kan. So tu lah, and the thing, one thing last nak sentuh pasal this whole Numenor thing before hopefully we say goodbye for good is aku macam tak faham sangat the inconsistency of Farazon. Sebab kita tahu dia memang nak kau nak in the name of Numenor pergi to Middle Earth, nak show military might semua kan. Bagus sebab we know dia pun nak juga Numenor luaskan kuasa because he has aspirations untuk rule over the other kingdoms of men, which is actually in line dengan karakteristik dia. Pergi tunjuk kuasa kau kat Middle Earth semua. Eventually kita boleh conquer, who knows. They'll definitely fear us and respect us, but aku setitik peluh tak buat. So macam tu dia macam behind the closest thing you have to a little finger lah, contohnya lah kan. Tapi but then within 5 minutes of that thing dia pun Lepas tu macam sungguh-sungguh suruh macam jangan pergilah. So I didn't really get why he macam flip and didn't want the armada to go within that literally the same exchange. So macam kurang faham that part.
Characterization dalam siri ni memang off lah. Dia tak ada continuity, dia tak grow on each other compared to another show that we know, House of the Dragon. Kau bagi 6 minggu je but you get attached to the actors, you get attached to the characters. Mamat Tempang ada 3 scene je, tapi dalam 3 scene over 3 minggu
dah jadi hated. Tapi tu sebab tu kenapa Farazwan he has the potential to be that. Sebab aku dah suka memang dia buat macam bagus, aku sokong the war effort pergilah Farazwan, but he stands to gain while losing absolutely nothing tau. Macam genius. Memang aku dari dulu masa original Game of Thrones tu I was rooting for Littlefinger semua. Aku suka orang pandai, so I would totally play the game like that tau. Kita baling batu sorok tangan tau. Macam I don't want to fucking die on the stake macam orang ni semua kan. So I like that character. So nampak macam Farazwan was going to be the Lord of the Rings equivalent of that. Cuma maybe kita akan nampak the reasoning later, tak tahu. Tapi tak faham kenapa dia beria sangat nak dia orang pergi. And then suddenly macam macam jangan pergi lah tu, macam kapal meletup and everything semua kan. So I don't know. But to close off aku punya roundup saya NUMENOR, and finally aku tak tahu sebab dia nak buat macam underdog story ke apa ke, but I felt that it was quite underwhelming that macam 3 kapal je pergi kan. Faham that ada ships kena
500 orang ya. Dalam 3 kapal tu ada 500 orang.
That doesn't look like it. Looks like 40 ya. Tak tahulah. Sebab tu macam I don't know, sebab kita tahu yang NUMENOR ni is all about dia punya naval punya might lah kan. Dia punya tentera laut kan, sampaikan dia bila datang Middle Earth and all the orcs pun cabut lah, tak nak lawan apa semua because of the grandeur of the fleet tu. Entahlah, 3 feels overwhelming, tapi maybe when the battle happens kita akan nampak lah dia punya reasoning behind that small quantity tu. We'll see. Aku rasa that whatever, it's not a budget thing. I don't think it's a budget thing because we know duit dia banyak. So this is a narrative thing. Maybe ada sebab kenapa kapal tu sikit untuk later baru the whole fleet datang ke apa, tak tahulah. But we shall see. Itulah. I guess to wrap it up, at the end of the day, I just hope they just get, the lot of them get fucking killed by the orcs and we don't need to see the Numenorians again lah. It's just more heartbreak for me.
Tak boleh bro, yang ni yang akan selamat. Yang ni yang selamat, yang dekat pulau dia akan mati. Kalau kau tengok dari segi armor dia, that is proto Gondor bro.
Betul, proto Gondornya. Let me just say juga, that part I actually like sebab sebagaimana kita tengok the architecture of NUMENOR yang ditunjuk dalam movie ni, kita nampak translated to the Gondor punya cities semua nanti kan. Aku pun suka yang armor pun nampak this is the evolution to the Gondorian punya armor yang kita tahu. And aku nampak macam ada Rohan influence juga. It really macam ada nampak macam tu sikit kan. So that shows the ties to NUMENOR which that I really like lah, in the designs, in the detail. But again, production dia orang jangan cerita lah. Yang tu memang top notch lah. So cuma the handling and the decision making of the Numenorians is just not my cup of tea lah. Aku tak boleh kata apa tu. So I hope we see less of them moving forward. Tu harapan aku. Kalau last episode tu HARFOOTS tak ada, aku harap yang next ni tak nampak ni Numenorians. Just give me a fucking break sekejap before we continue.
Okay.
Betul lah.
Alright. Okay, soalan kedua adalah tujuan ya. Apakah reaksi kau bila Halbrand berubah dia punya pendapat? Tak nak pergi, tiba-tiba pergi. Tiba-tiba dah pakai armor dah, dah naik kapal dah. Dan adakah Halbrand ni sebenarnya pewaris daripada manusia Bedlord di Southlands yang sebenarnya di bawah Sauron dan pernah bekerja untuk Morgoth? Sebab tu dia nak lari daripada jadi raja, macam dia tak nak jadi raja yang jahat.
Sebelum aku jawab pasal Halbrand ni, aku nak petik pasal opening scene yang yang Samwise Gamgee versi perempuan menyanyi tu kan. Aku suka Lord of the Rings ni, dia tak pernah miss. Setiap kali mesti ada satu macam lagu ataupun hymn ataupun dendangan yang bagi aku suka dengar lah. Enya ke, bila Enya nyanyi ke, bila on the mountain deepnya Kim ke apa,
Misty
memang-
Mountains tu, Misty Mountains.
Misty
tu
Mountain.
best.
Mountain ke, walaupun cerita
Oh.
dia kata tak best, tapi lagu dia best weh. Daripada Fellowship lagi apa semua. So aku suka lah dia masih kekalkan dia punya essence lagu-lagu tu. Walaupun lagu yang si Samuel Genji versi perempuan ni nyanyi tak ada sebest dengan lagu-lagu lain kan, tapi at least ada something yang untuk didendangkan lah kan. So aku seronok lah. Sebab bila ingat balik kan, apa masa kau kecil-kecil muda, kau rasa Lord of the Ring, Return of the King the best of the best tau, sebab banyak action apa semua fun kan. Tapi bila kau dah semakin umur meningkat, kau lebih suka tengok Fellowship of the Ring tau. Sebab kat situ kau dapat ketenangan. Masa dia orang mula party apa semua kan, lagu tu kau secara relax, chill. Very sempat tu si kan. Tapi masa muda kau suka pergolakan. So perang masa Return of the King apa semua kan, masa Two Towers perang. So lagu bagus lah, dia orang kekalkan dia punya ni, lagu-lagu ni. So menjawab balik kepada Halbrand ni, kita pun dah tahu dah takkan dia nak mati atas pulau tu kan. Dia saja je dia terus saja nak gerakkan plot je. Dah boleh agak dah. Tak nak lalas ambil juga aku dah boleh baca lah sajalah. Terus saja nak drag benda ni bagi lama-lama kan. Padahal awal boleh ikut. Saja nak tengok dia punya orang kata je motivation tu sebab apa kan. Dia tak adalah suka nak ikut kan. Maknanya susah lah nak ajak dia ni, bukan senang nak ikut kan. So nampak dia punya progress tu. Daripada dia tu nak stay sini, dia nak mulakan hidup baru, jadi blacksmith, apa semua nak relax. Tapi at the end dia macam rasa terjawab juga nak jadi king of Eastman lah kan. Sebab dia memang macam kan. Cuma aku tak tahu aku nak tanya Munif lah, adakah Halbrand ni akan jadi akan buat satu kingdom Rohan? Dia akan buat Rohan kan?
Dia
bukan Rohan.
Definitely tak terlibat dengan Origins Rohan.
Oh, dia bukan buat Rohan lah. Dia ada kingdom lain juga. Mana dia sebab dia bukan buat Gondor kan.
Audience tu yang berkaitan dengan The Riders of Rohan dan juga The Gondor.
Ya.
So tapi dia ni akan jadi king apa ke tak tahu lah.
Dia
Which
mungkin
of
akan jadi King of Angmar.
Tapi ramai yang kata dia ni dia okey, aku tak tahu pasal apa dekat internet paling banyak orang cakap pasal Halbrand ni, aku rasa definitely 80% orang yang aku baca artikel duk kata dia ni Sauron. Macam confident gila, betul lah. Dia ramai duk kata dia ni Sauron. Yang kat internet lah, tengok 80% memang cakap Mamat ni Sauron dan semua. So macam aku
menarik kat mana dia menipu semua orang lah. Tapi aku rasa dia ni lebih kepada akan jadi Nazgul tu kan. Nazgul kan dia
aku rasa akan jadi sebab dia tu Kings of Men. Dia dah terang-terang salah satu Kings of Men. Kings of Men kita tahu memang jadi Nazgul. So betul lah. Tapi apa-apa dia memang akan jadi dark lah. Sebab kalau kau tengok, kalau kita ambil dari sudut Galadriel kan, mesti ada sebab dalam banyak-banyak orang dia duk berperangai macam bitch tapi yang dia trust and respect yang bukan elf, Halbrand seorang tau. So tu mesti tengah set up untuk satu ketersakiti yang akan berlaku nanti.
Betul. Aku pun suspect. Aku rasa dia jadi kan masa dari 9 Kings of Nazgul kan. Nazgul kan 9 Kings asalnya kan. So ada satu king tu King of the Kings lah, King Nazgul yang paling utama. Aku rasa dia yang nombor satu tu lah. Yang dia kata masa digandurkan apa nama si Buffer, no man can kill me. I am no man. Aku macam
tapi ada lagi satu yang menarik apa tau. Yang ni aku tengok, tapi ini seorang je post pasal benda ni. Just one guy on Reddit post benda ni. Dia letak muka Halbrand kan, dengan dia letak muka ketua hantu yang kala hijau dalam Return of the King. Muka dekat tau.
Kebaik
muka dekat tau, serius. Yang ni seorang je buat. Seorang.
Ui, tu power lah siap.
Tengok muka memang
tu beremang kan.
Itu seorang je post kat Reddit, aku nampak. Just one guy.
Mana dia gelakkan apa Aragorn. Oh ya, ni best. Kalau betul memang best. Mana dia betul lah dia Old King. Dah mati tapi dia ada plugs punya ni kan. Punya ni. Kalau aku rasa tu lagi better lah sebab dia macam orang dia either way outcome dia macam dia jadi style lah, dia style lu lah. Kau baik sebenarnya style kau jadi king hantu tu. Jahat pula kau jadi king Nazgul. Dua-dua pun power bagi aku.
Dia akan jadi style lah berapa pun.
So Habran ni ada bagi aku watak penting lah. Kalau Sauron pun bagus juga, macam ada plot twist yang kita tak sangka kan, sebab kita sekarang tak tahu siapa Sauron, which is good. So dia ni memang outcome dia Habran ni somebody lah. Cuma tu lah yang dia macam tak nak tiba ikut lah. Itu je lame lah, tu dah boleh baca
Drama
lah, boleh nampak lah. Dia takkan mati atau pulau tu dia akan ikut juga. Cuma gedi-gedi nak kena pujuk lah apa semua. Sebelah ikutlah kita. Tak nak aku nak maju lah dari sini lah. Betul lah. Tu lah. Tapi outcome dia bagus lah.
Alright. Okay, so soalan terakhir untuk segmen ni adalah untuk Jamal ya. Going to the Southlands pula. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Waldreg, the traitor? It's like, apa kita nak defend? Kita lagi baik jadi slaves kepada Sauron. And then bila dia sampai tu, baru dia tahu there is a blood oath. Kau kena bunuh sebelum kau dapat join Sauron. Dan dia lepas tu kawan kepada dia.
Masalahnya kan, dia kata, are you Sauron? Oh, kau bukan Sauron? Aku adar baru babi kau kata aku Sauron. Masa dia gila.
Oh, are you Sauron or you're not Sauron Tak apa, aku serve kau juga.
Macai betul.
Kena bayarkan darah ya. Saya tak tahu. Dia dah panggil setengah kampung dah turun padang dah. Bodoh gila siap. Also the revelation bahawa the Tower of Ostirith dan Theo Sword is a key. So pendapat kau silakan.
Aku rasa benda tu yang bab the key tu I think it's fine. I think it's pretty standard in shows regardless of genre. And this is how they want to wield the story. So we see how compelling it is lah by the end of the first season. As it is, the acting up to that point memang nampak convincing lah. Tapi with regards to Waldreg ni, aku punya ayat simple je. Bila aku tengok Muhammad tu punya karakter, aku teringat filem Lelaki Harapan Dunia, which remains one of my favourite local films of all time, the second tier. The first tier tu susah nak masuk lah. Tapi this film, while the visuals is definitely first tier, aku rasa the story yang there is a very commentary punya story and very personal to the filmmaker, aku tak boleh nak bagi dia first tier lah, sebab aku punya my favourite local film of all time period as of now is Budak Kelantan. In the same tier ada Jagat. So bila aku tengok karakter Waldreg ni, aku teringat Lelaki Harapan Dunia, because kepada mereka yang dah tengok Lelaki Harapan Dunia, korang tengok cerita tu dan korang akan perasan you will learn something which is called mob mentality. So mob mentality ni satu dunia ada. Fikiran dia adalah mentality mob. Mob ni, kalau aku nak guna Dewan Bahasa punya terjemahan, mob bermaksud MOB ya. To crowd around, mengeroyok, mengerumuni, mogok dan sebagainya. So tetapi kalau a group of people, dia refer to a group of people, sekumpulan orang, segerombolan orang. Jadi istilah mob mentality ni adalah mob tu bila kau tengok ada segerombolan orang atau segerombolan manusia yang berfikiran sama, yang berkongsi sentimen yang sama, kau join. Sebab apa? You want to be a part of the mob. Ini adalah mentality mob. Kau tak nak ketinggalan dan kau tak boleh nak buat tak boleh berfikir dan membuat bertindak untuk diri sendiri. Kau tak boleh decide untuk diri sendiri. Jadi kau kena ikut orang lain cakap apa. Jadi bila orang lain semua macam tu, fikir macam kau, you hanya perlukan seorang yang kata, kita bakar. Lepas tu lagi 8 orang, bakar. Lepas tu orang lain semua nampak 8 orang, 9 orang ni nak bakar. Kita bakar. Itu adalah mob mentality lah. Okay. So bila kau tengok scene Waldreg ni, aku tengok cerita tu aku tengok momen tu macam babilah. Memang ada mob. So kalau kau dapat orang-orang yang mulut parit sikit, dia akan kata orang kampung memang suka mob mentality ni. Aku kalau dengar orang macam tu, aku jeling je sebab aku bukan jadi gaduh, tapi aku jeling je dalam hati aku kimak lah kau. Kau ingat orang kat bandar pun tak mob ke? Orang kat bandar pun mob je. Kan? Kalau aku nak kurang ajar, budak-budak repek tu mob juga. Kalau aku nak kurang ajar. So mob adalah orang-orang yang macam ni lah. So bila kau tengok Waldreg tu, aku tengok watak macam tu, aku macam terdetik. Bila kau buat cerita medieval, cerita lama ni lah, cerita-cerita zaman pendekar, zaman raja dan takhta dan sultan, memang masyarakat digambarkan sebegini. So bila aku tengok benda ni aku tak surprise lah. Aku just rasa macam celaka kau, tak boleh pakai punya manusia. Aku matilah senang. So
Dah lah, Bronwyn baru buat speech bro. Baru buat.
Tapi Bronwyn punya speech tu aku tak kisah sebab apa? Bila dia buat speech tu aku tak rasa macam Engkau bila cakap orang dengar dua sebab. Satu, engkau desperate. Dua, kau pakai baju sama je. Dia orang letih. Okay? So dia orang letih. So bila Bronwyn tunjuk kepala tu, orang percaya cakap dia. Tapi bila dah sampai dekat situ, apa bukti kau Bronwyn? Apa bukti kau dan boyfriend elf kau ni? Korang tak ada bukti. Jadi orang-orang macam well drag yang dia mob mentality tapi dia pangkat dia tinggi sikit. Pangkat dia mungkin sarjan. So dia jenis yang kaki hasut. So dalam mob ni dia kena ada kaki hasut. So well drag ni kaki hasut lah. Dia lah batu api.
One thing aku nak tambahan sebab Bronwyn pun dia silap dia juga sebab she actually forgot her place pasal apa tau. Bukannya forgot her place apa, but remember the crowd tu is a gabungan from like multiple villages across the region kan. You are an outcast in your own fucking kampung. Lagi kau nak convince dia a conglomeration of kampung kan. They were never going to listen to her.
Betul lah tu.
Yeah, man.
Even if they were going to listen to her, the scenes yang kita nampak dia implore and appeal to the public are all desperate situations. Bukan daripada kedudukan dia sebagai seorang pemimpin kampung atau somebody yang mempunyai kepimpinan. So memang tak boleh buat apa lah. Jadi bila kau dapat orang macam dia versus penghasut macam well drag ni, memang tak boleh buat apa lah bro. So benda yang aku paling rasa celaka, yang aku rasa lucu, yang membuatkan aku sedikit tergelak macam okay, is when dia kata macam, Are you Sauron? Oh, you're not Sauron. It's okay, I'll follow you anyway.
Yeah, boleh.
Macam, kimak lah. Kimak. Kalau aku Adar punya penolong, tak apa. Boleh. Pang pencong. Sebab orang macam kau, Sauron timbul, tak pun Isildur ke Elendil sampai, Galadriel bawa keluar pedang, oh, kau lah penyelamat kami.
Betul tu.
Ini tak boleh. Kalau dia tak cakap kau lah penyelamat kami, kita boleh. Tak boleh. So tak boleh. Orang macam ni tak boleh pakai. So dia membawa sedikit kelucuan lah untuk aku. Aku suka lah. Tapi aku rasa going back to the soalan ni yang tentang kunci tu, I'll just see where that goes. I do not know how accurate or inaccurate that is. As it is at this point, aku rasa okay je. Cuma aku adalah at one point, a small part, aku rasa macam elah convenient gila. Tower tu jugalah ada Nadzru kat situ. Convenient gila babi. Aku lagi rela.
Saya pernah nampak lambang ni. Lepas tu dia buka-buka. What the fuck?
Ada situ. How long has that been there?
Aku lagi what I would have preferred was Bronwyn ada satu babak di mana kita tu nak menunjukkan, nak set up the premise, Bronwyn diorang berarak daripada kampung Bronwyn ke kampung sebelah, ke kampung jiran semua. And then kampung-kampung ni tanya, korang nak pergi mana? Kita orang nak lari, kita orang nak pergi tower tu. Kenapa? Oh, benda ni jadi, inilah kepala dia dan sebagainya. And then ada orang tanya, macam mana korang tahu nak pergi ke tower tu? And then anak Bronwyn datang memainkan
Confession.
Sama ada dia confession atau dia macam kata, aku rasa kat situ ada kuasa yang kuat atau sebagainya, dan whatever it is lah. So basically anak dia boleh influence mak dia. Mak, I rasa kita boleh pergi sini. Meaning kena ada karakter yang placement kat situ. Daripada kita pergi tower tu, baik kita pergi kampung yang besar ni, kampung yang dekat pelabuhan ni. Kalau ada apa-apa masalah, kita boleh hantar kapal. Oh, kita boleh lari juga. Lepas tu anak dia cakap dekat Bronwyn, mak, kalau kita pergi kat tower ni lagi elok lah mak, sebab kita boleh defend lagi senang. Dan kita boleh tengok diorang datang dari mana dan sebagainya. And then Arondir pun dulu dia berjaga dekat situ. Jadi mesti Arondir pun kenal tempat tu kan mak. Mesti lagi selamat. Dan lagi dekat kita cepat sampai. So mak dia pula macam pandai pula anak aku ni. Okey. Anak aku cakap kita kena pergi sini, jadi kita pergi sini Lepas tu dia tunjuk dada sikit. Okay, that was very distasteful lah. Anyway, my point is, you will have that moment where anak Bronwyn tu, where we establish yang anak Bronwyn tu dah termakan pengaruh pedang tu. So bila dia sampai dekat situ, and then tiba-tiba Arondir tarik, aku macam kenal lah, and then Arondir tarik all the plants, and dia nampak benda tu, and then Arondir pandang belakang tengok budak tu, and then pandang depan tengok Bronwyn, tengok balik benda tu, kamera pergi kat budak tu, and then budak tu senyum. Settle. Then you know, okay. Mordor is coming. Kan? Morgoth is coming. Benda-benda macam tu lah.
So, all along.
That has been the plan all along. Cuma bezanya Wildred ni tak boleh pakai, so dia suruh benda tu sebab dia tak ada prolonged exposure to the sword and to the whatever lah. So I mean, but it's easy for me to sit here and say this lah, kan? Kita dah tengok dan kita tahu apa yang kita suka dan tak suka. So kita boleh lah adjust ikut kita punya suka hati, kan? But that was it lah. Aku rasa tu je. I don't think there's anything else we could need. I did feel it was a bit convenient lah, macam elah.
Yes. Untuk tolak. Ni masa saya nampak the first time.
Correct.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Alright guys. So dengan itu berakhirlah 3 plot menarik daripada episod minggu lepas. Sekarang kita bakal bincangkan harapan kami untuk episod Rings of Power hari Jumaat. Alright, so sebagai penutup, apakah harapan korang untuk episod hari Jumaat ni? Kita mulakan dengan Munif, your wish list. Aku tahu dah kau tak nak NUMENOR.
Satu, yes, aku tak nak tengok anything about NUMENOR at least for one episode ni. Maybe you skip kejap, macam korang skip the HARFOOTS dekat the previous episodes sebab aku letih. Lepas tu more Bronwyn is always good. And sekarang ni more Durin is also always good. So Durin dengan Elrond, aku macam starting to really like the whole Durin dengan Elrond ni benda lah. And hopefully kau throw in some Gil-Galad induced tension into the mix. Aku rasa we can have a pretty intense and interesting episode lah moving ahead. Yang pasal yang Arondir punya side pula tu, aku tak tahu ni harapan ke tak, tapi aku ada satu kerisauan tau. Dia pun kita tahu dia nak defend against Adarnya army kan. Lepas tu kau pasal tak macam they were really making a big deal pasal the tower tu must fall benda kan. Lepas tu macam orang tengok macam terfikir something pasal the tower tu must fall kan. Kalau ini boleh dikatakan harapan, aku harap aku tak nak macam dia robohkan tower tu, Miada tu tengah panjat bukit kan, lepas tu dia golek
Itu nak tolong apa? Babi, korang dah benar.
Aku takut juga tu, janganlah something yang literal macam tu kan. Hopefully macam dia buat something clever with the tower. Saya kata tower tu must fall, so benda tu macam keyword. Aku tak tahu kalau benda tu literal ke tak, tapi we'll see. I hope they do something macam interesting with that lah. And kalau ada lagi satu yang aku punya quite a strong harapan is that, you know, for a series that's called The Rings of Power, we are having a serious lack of Rings of Power tau. So
aku rasa tu Nixon bro. Diorang punya force pun tak siap lagi bro.
Kan, tapi tak tahu macam at least macam mana dia currently the Rings of Power tu is treated like quite a sideshow tau. Sebab yang lain pun okay, macam The Stranger kita tak tahu dia apa, tapi macam dia benda dah jadi kan. And then Galadriel pun mula-mula dia macam aku seorang ke yang terpinga-pinga nak chase Sauron ni, sampai sekarang dia dah ada army. Lepas tu Arondir pun dah reunite all the kampung dia dengan keperana dengan anak dan benda semua dah tahu kewujudan ada and preparing for that. Lepas tu Durin dengan Elrond pun dah start ada that dilemma pasal the Mithril apa benda semua kan. So aku faham kalau kau tak terus tunjuk all the rings, saya faham, and I don't prefer it to be suddenly macam tu juga, but you know the construction of the forge pun tak tunjuk tu macam faham tak? At least maybe show a bit more of the setup of making the actual Rings of Power tau. Sebab sekarang ni other subplots pun tak resolve juga. You don't see the end product yet, tapi they actually given spotlight tau, the run up to whatever it is the other subplot so nak buat lah. Yang for the ring sih basically tak ada tau. The only thing we know is salah satu ring tu is diperbuat daripada Mithril. So dia dah introduce Mithril, and itu pun if dia pun ikut macam di adaptation lah, it could be tak ada kaitan langsung with the ring, the Mithril. So yeah, kalau ada aku punya number one on the top.
Some of the elven rings are made from Mithril. Galadriel has a Mithril ring. So that's why Mithril is important. Yeah.
So that's why hopefully tak, sebab kenapa aku punya concern sekarang macam like I said, aku percaya because the show is called Rings of Power. Even kalau kau tunjuk the Rings of Power tidak at the last episode kau tunjuk the Rings of Power kan, so season 2 baru all the bullshit will go down. But aku kena shed some spotlight on dia punya creation sikit, because the only thing yang kita nampak macam berkaitan dengan the creation of the Rings of Power bagi aku ada dua, which is number one is the forge yang dia memang tak tunjuk langsung, tiba-tiba macam dah 80% under construction. And the other thing is tu macam kau cakap Mithril lah, and we know Mithril tu akan jadi the material for the elven rings. Tetapi the introduction of Mithril tu nampak macam more tu dia pun nak cakap pasal the extinction of the elves, not really pasal the construction of the ring kan. So the forge tak tunjuk, Mithril looks like for the survival of elves. So what are the subplots sebenarnya yang directly relate to the forging of the Rings of Power in the series The Rings of Power tau? And we are like 5 episodes already. Season ni dia ada berapa episode? Most lebih?
8.
Dia ada 8 episode. 8.
So
we are past the midway already.
We are fast midway and we are fast approaching the final third lah basically. So kalau going into the final third and kita tak share the spotlight on the creation of the Rings of Power pun, then aku rasa that is a bit on the late punya side. Sebab it's literally the titular character of the show kan. However they do it, we'll just wait and see lah untuk ultimately pass judgment if it's good writing ke, if the pace and the plot was actually okay ke apa ke. But yalah, kalau tanya harapan tu, I like to see a bit about the rings or some treachery in trying to get the rings created, something lah, you know. Throw me a bone.
Kita takkan nampak dalam season 1.
Janganlah.
It's setting up all the places and all the people dulu.
Itu lah, tapi macam kau cakap, I don't mind kalau the ring tu tak jadi an important plot point, macam final scene of last episode baru nampak kan. Tapi we know there many shit that went down in the creation of the rings. Macam highlight lah sikit bila the elves tu duk dapat whispers from this untrustworthy asshole duk suruh buat ring si ke, Celebrimbo duk kena macam pelit ke, macam
Anata main itu, not even season 1.
Kan, so macam tak tahulah, dia pelik lah because it's called the Ring of Power. So the subplots of the beginnings of making the rings pun tak nampak. Actually complain aku ni pun bukan complain, harapan lah. Aku takkan cakap sangat sebab benda ni kalau dia actually maybe just for a few minutes one episode spotlight the creation of the forge like it's a big fucking deal kan. So macam tiba-tiba macam dekat background dah nak siap dah. Lepas tu macam benda tu tak penting.
Aaron tengok tingkap macam tu
dia tengok tingkat dia dah ni kan. So padahal the show is about the rings eventually, I guess. Tapi itulah, whatever this, harapan aku is that we get to see something about the rings. The rings needs its own subplot lah. At least for me personally lah. Betul lah.
Celebrimbo jangan
dia
kan. Pergi buat kerja lah. Tak habis-habis minum teh, minum wine, butuh lah
santai.
Okey, seterusnya Duan, silakan harapan kau untuk episod hari Jumaat ni.
Harapan aku want to see more of Gandalf dengan HARFOOTS. Aku rasa untuk next episode diorang dah patut settle down dekat tempat yang diorang nak pergi tu lah. Patut settle down, lepas tu dah diorang pun dah terima Gandalf kan, cuma Nori jadi phobia sebab kena attack kan. So time tu dia tak sedar, dia macam tengah dekat alam lain, dunia lain kan, so dia tak sedar. Dia pun dah pun Nori takut ni, dia pun tak tahu.
Ya.
So nak remove dia macam mana dia nak tackle balik Nori. So supaya dia ingat balik siapa diri dia sebenarnya dan dia berjumpa dengan Emonem versi perempuan tu. So ada apa jadi. Dan morph of Durin dengan Aaron lah. Cuma aku terfikir Durin dengan Aaron ni dia macam tak know anything. Dia apa doesn't know anything happen. Macam tak tahu apa yang berlaku, dia tak tahu kan. Dia sibuk dengan dia orang kan. Dia tak tahu tengah ada gerakan daripada kan. Daripada Orc apa semua dia tak tahu. Bila dia tenang boleh lepak-lepak boleh minum. Itu pasal ni pasal Mithril apa semua kan. Dia orang tak tahu apa sedang berlaku. So macam hopefully diorang dah next episode diorang dah aware lah something, macam ada seorang somebody report ke apa yang something is going to happen kan. So macam santai sangat diorang tu, tapi seronok.
Tak masalahnya diorang hidup dalam kepompong pasal diorang bangsawan. Diorang tak nak dengar cakap Galadriel yang cakap sebenarnya masih ada kejahatan di dunia ini. Tapi Gil-galad, Elrond, Celebrimbor semua macam nak minum teh lah, nak minum wine lah, nak jadi bangsawan.
Gil-galad cakap kalau kau cari jumpalah. Gil-galad cakap
kalau kau cari kegelapan kau akan jumpa kegelapan. Memang
sebab ada lah celaka
Betul juga sebab dia dah buang si Galadriel. Lepas tu yang si siapa nama elf yang berita pun siapa?
Arondil
tak boleh nak bagi tahu report sebab dia dah tersekat kat situ. Dia tak ada cara nak report benda tu. So memang diorang tak tahu apa-apa berlaku lah. So harapan ni sebenarnya kat Arondil lah. Sebab dia memang boleh bagi tahu, tapi dia pun stuck kat situ. Galadriel memang takkan pergi balik dekat Gilgalad ke apa, dia takkan pergi, dia terus nak pergi perang je. Dia dah tahu dekat mana tempat tu kan. So hopefully itulah, masa diorang memang takkan tahulah kot. Tapi aku rasa diorang akan jadi macam final punya backup untuk masa perang lah kot. Nanti diorang akan nama dia sampai dulu perang-perang. Diorang tahu diorang dia baru dah hantar army apa semula kan. So kalau sampai lagi okey lah, aku nak tengok scene Durin dengan Aaron lah kan. Tengok apa lagi benda merepek, apa lagi benda benda scam penipuan yang si Durin nak buat kan. So other than that ada pun nak kena tengok apa berlaku, budak tu mati ke tak kan yang dia suruh bunuh tu kan.
Sacrifice
memang akan mati bro, itu adalah blood
agak mati lah.
Kau kena bunuh budak ni.
Lepas tu aku rasa adik ke kakak si Isildur pun patut mati tenggelam kan. So scene tu nak kena tengok juga.
Nampak gaya.
Sebab dia tak ikut. So dia akan mati tenggelam. So aku rasa kena ada satu scene yang Nuron tenggelam lah. Tak tahu kalau next episode ke tak kan. Mungkin dia akan delay lagi untuk dia. Tak sure bila dia nak tenggelam kan.
Aku rasa maybe season 2 kot. Pasal
Season 2
lambat lagi.
Farazon
baru
kena
nak
pergi
cakap.
Valinor dulu, kena ambil Sauron datang ke faham tak? Jauh lagi.
Farazon tu penting tu.
Lambat lagi. Lambat lagi tak apa. Biar ada career dekat sana tu. So kita tengok ada progress lah, hopefully dah berjumpa, dah what's the next step apa semua lah. So hopefully kita akan tahu lagi. Aku nak tengok apa background si ni lah, apa nama Gandalf. Habram satu. Harapan pun nak tengok apa dia agenda. Isildur kena ada progress lah situ. Sebab sekarang nampak macam bodoh.
Menyampah gila dia.
Progress. Sebab dia akan jadi watak penting. Memang dia akan jadi si bodoh sekali. Kita nak tengok dia progress daripada si bodoh ke jadi king of bodoh. Sebab dia betul kan. Macam progress dia. To next level. Apa lagi kebodohan dia nak buat nanti.
Alright. Terakhir sekali Jamal, silakan. Your hopes, or maybe kau tak ada hope pasal this is all fan fiction, silakan. Razia, you're mute. Okay, tak mute, silakan.
For me, my hope, I think we will go back to Adar, because of the way the episode ended. Of course, kita akan tengok Numenor yang telah ditinggalkan. I think that might be towards the end of the next episode, from a pacing perspective. aku rasa yang aku personally nak tengok, there will be the HARFOOTS. So we will expand on that definitely. So kalau aku punya hopes, I want to see if they show Numenor tenggelam. I want to see how they will do that. I want to see how they do that. I hope it is very epic or very compelling, because it will be the story of whoever yang pergi, yang 500 orang tu yang pergi ke Southlands, diorang lah menjadi survivor Numenor dan they carry the Numenorian spirit and set a new kingdom of man on Middle Earth that eventually becomes Gondor. So I feel that, and then because they were unified during the fight against Adar, we will see the beginnings of that. So that will be ni. Aku personally rasa season 1 ni is about Mithril. So I think while it took a little bit of time to establish the characters and the settings and the premises and the dynamics, aku rasa season 1 ni akan berakhir dengan establishing the importance of Mithril to the defenders, to the defiance, to the forces of light or good and whatever not lah. Because I don't think we will see the rings anytime soon. I feel that what could happen is the whole 5 seasons will end with the rings being completed and being given away. Yeah. Meaning basically
the 9 rings
with the 9 rings, or it will end with the 1 ring to rule them all getting lost. Meaning we might have a final season where they thank us all for staying for 5 seasons, and the ending is basically the war lah, that results in the 1 ring getting lost.
Yang Isildur tak nak buang, lepas tu bunuh cousin dia.
Something like that. So I think that would be the case, because the series is called The Ring of Power again. And if we're judging by the pace, and if it's just 8 episodes per season, and this is how the pace is, even if it picks up, it will just pick up and tell stories within the 300 to 500 years that they have condensed the history to lah. So there is no point rushing it. I feel that the first season would make more sense to establish characters that will become key in the events that lead up to the decision of kita perlu 9 ring. So meaning somewhere in season 3 or 4 akan ada the resurgence atau the rise of Sauron, or the first false coming, or the first false return of Sauron, which is then got pushed back, and then lepas pushback tu then they decide, okay, kita kena buat Ring of Power. Kalau tidak, Sauron akan forever datang balik. Tapi man being man, the kingdom of man all day akan jadi rosak lah. So I have a feeling that will be the direction for this series lah. So accuracy be damned, I just want to see clean storytelling, compelling characters, dan believable arcs yang memang character motivation dia tinggi lah. Even if they are fan fiction ke, and they were just done with minimal references to the source material. That's about it lah. And I feel that bila kau macam mana, Munif, when you are condensing 3,000 years into say 3 to 500 years, I think in that with respect to that period of time, Numenor mungkin tak sepenting kot. So maybe that's probably why they only paid visual tribute to it, as opposed to embellishing the story and the lands of Numenor. Because what's the point? You're gonna get swallowed by the sea anyway, right? So why should we?
In the books, the only reason that Eru Elovita made the sea swallow Numenor is because Numenor ingkar dan minta nak hidup
forever
than elves.
Okay, so
by going to Valar and stealing Sauron from Valar to be in Numenor.
Okay, so we know that they cannot do that now, right? So even if we take that, benda yang kau baru cakap tu, Nick, even if you take that, lepas Numenor ditelan laut, what has been the significance of Numenorians post that? Aside
Gondor and the Riders of Rohan.
Yes, okay. So, but does that need us to tell and show Numenor before all that happened? It doesn't. So what if you bila kita fikir condense ni, then I can start to rationalize why the writer is not spending so much time in Numenor in the first season. Because the first season, kita nak kena tunjuk Numenor ada, orang daripada Numenor ni tinggalkan Numenor, datang nak selamatkan Southlands, and these are the people that kena create Gondor. Dah habis cerita. Because whatever happens at Numenor, law accurate or not, within the context of the entire 5 seasons, it may or may not matter. So tak perlulah nak spend so much time, nor VFX and money to flesh out Numenor. Because what is more important is the story of how, bila semua orang dah sampai kat Middle Earth, macam mana korang punya interaction dan cerita korang tu to come to the point where korang decide, okay, kita kena buat cincin. So aku rasa that might be the reason why lah kot. And the fact that they cannot really show Numenor at its full glory because of Silmarillion tak dapat rise apa semua, a convenient excuse lah. But I just feel that in the grand scheme of in the grand scheme of things of them leading to do the 5 rings, which is the title of the series, benda yang Numenor buat tu, we do not need to show Numenor doing that per se.
But if I may, Jamal, if I may, kan, macam mana my gripe with Numenor is that it's not pasal Numenor punya, it's not a lack of deep dive into Numenor or even screen time. I just do not want them to be treated like cannon fodder. Tu je. Because kalau kau tunjuk sikit je pasal Numenor, because yes, they're I guess relatively not that significant to the creation of the Rings of Power, that's fine. Kalau dia macam just a passing plot point untuk get this character from point A to point B, that's also fine. But they went out of their way to really turn them into cannon fodder lah, which itu je yang aku tak agree tu. Macam
personally pada aku, kau guna cannon fodder, CANNON, aku akan ambil just as a wordplay, cannon fodder. Yes, because there is no canon for them to follow. So because of that, there is no that you have to ask the question now, do we need to be loyal to Numenor? Because if we are loyal to Numenor, we have to be loyal to everything else. And since you cannot be equally loyal to everyone, and as a matter of fact, you can't really be loyal to Tolkien because you don't have access to Silmarillion, then you probably it's like a chopping block punya ni lah. Kita masukkan semua dulu, kita susun cerita ni, and then kita craft season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5 punya arcs, and then we split it into the 8 episodes each season, or 10 depending, and then we start to cut make it leaner and leaner sebab kita ada 8 episode je. So I won't be surprised if Numenor punya current treatment that we see is a consequence of that process, as opposed to diorang daripada awal tak nak buat Numenor punya ni. But of course, benda ni senang lah cakap. Kalau kita tengok season 3 and we are not happy with what they did, and then tiba-tiba dia orang interview kata, oh memang kita kena buat macam ni, kita nak susun, lepas tu kita orang cut the fat, and then kita kata, babi, korang cut the fat, benda ni korang simpan dalam season 2 dengan dalam season 3 yang tak ada meaning, lepas tu dia menor korang buang. It might just happen that way 2 years from now, so I don't know lah. But aku rasa, I mean, that's not good, because aku rasa they will pay more attention to the events and the characters closer to the formation or to the making, to the creation of the rings, as opposed to things further back, because that makes more sense. From a writing perspective.
I agree lah. I agree, but with the concentrated, like I said, the concentration of focus, screen time, significance, I completely agree with that. Why, like I said, Numenor doesn't have to be in the spotlight. It's just that, I guess what I mean, nak senang cerita lah kan. You can just make Numenor just a passing kind of plot point, but when you really the pacification of them, I think takes effort, because if you want to concentrate effort into other things, or as you said, into characters or plot points that are closer to the Rings of Power, then just let Numenor be a passing thing. It takes effort to dismantle them like that, which I don't understand. Itu yang aku tak faham tu. Kalau nak fokus benda lain, fokuslah benda lain. In fact, the time you took to dismantle Numenor, you could have used that to focus on all these other things that you wanted to focus to. Maybe just make them forgettable at least, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But
okay, so where would your origin be for the kingdom of Gondor? Where would be a viable starting point? If you make Numenor a passing whatever, macam kau cakap, where would be the starting point for the creation of Gondor?
I mean, of course, it has to start from Numenor lah, the origins of it. But it could just be something neutral, something in between. It doesn't have to be stepped on so much because, like I said, stepping on.
Where was Numenor stepped on? Where was Numenor stepped on?
Since day one, I've said in the power
where I
levels,
said it was a specific point. I mean, like, we get your sentiment for the past 4 weeks, tapi where specifically an incident, for example, misrepresentation of the Queen, ataupun Palantir tu salah, ataupun the depiction of the people or the language salah, ataupun what is it specifically that you felt Numenor was unfairly treated, where Numenor was unfairly treated?
It basically two things. It boils down ultimately to two things. Number one, it wasn't really fleshed out their racism towards the elves, and secondly, it's just the power levels. So like how everyone from civilian to knights to prison guards, whoever, just like getting like dismantled, just like that.
No,
So
when you
it's-
say
it's just
dismantle,
this
it
thing.
means tak. Bila kau kata dismantle, kau kena, satu, aku tak baca Silmarillion. Dua, tak ramai orang yang tengok atau baca ni, atau tengok series ni, baca Silmarillion dan faham dan minat Numenor seperti kau. So bila kau kata dismantle, you have to give clear examples. For example, dalam buku atau dalam sketches, the guards of the prisons or the guards of the harbours or ports wear a certain type of armour of a certain colour. But now, in this depiction of Numenor, instead of these guards wearing these sort of armors, they have been changed to just wearing some kind of garment instead. And then instead of speaking like this, they spoke differently. Now that is dismantling. So right now, I feel that whatever that is dismantled is your imagination or your visualization of whatever you read of Numenor plus whatever visuals. Tapi ni aku speculating lah. Because for me who is not reading it, for me to accept Numenor as an important city/island, I'm not saying it's grand enough, but it's important enough. I feel it. Cukup. Because it's very clear. It's very clearly put. So kalau benda-benda minute macam tu, kalau kau nak jadikan contoh, then I will not ask any further lah. Because when you say dismantle, it means that a specific aspect of Numenor that could have been maintained was not maintained without reason. And if you cannot give me some specific key examples to the point that semua orang in a way yang semua orang setuju, other Numenor fans setuju, then it's hard for me to
soalan dia adalah
accept yourself
kenapa Halbrand, seorang manusia daripada Southland yang hamba, tapi boleh lempang 5 orang Numenorians.
Nah, I guess
sebab 5 orang Numenorians tu sebab 5 orang Numenorians tu adalah just 5 orang Numenorians. Bukannya dia lempang 5 orang Numenorian guards apabila dia buat bising dekat penjara dia atau ni.
4 to 5 guards.
Okay, I
Tapi
guess
Galadriel-
like how to
Galadriel
put it-
buat dekat orang-orang recruits baru, dan Galadriel is an elf, so I guess that's an exception
The
for her.
guards that she locked into the cage.
Tak, but then my second point lah, Galadriel is an elf. Yang
Tapi
ni, and I think
Halbrand badass lah. Dia memang bagi aku dia badass, dia power. Dia boleh bantal 5 orang yang badan besar pun dia bantal patah.
because for me I will not intellectualize the scene yang Halbrand belasah 5 orang tu. That is just a simple scene. Orang baru masuk kampung, mulut tak jaga, perangai tak jaga, understandably so. Lepas tu ada gangster-gangster kampung yang lepak warung, nak check semua benda mak-mak ni push over. Itu je. I just take that scene as that. It just so happened that this very same character that led that band of people that wanted to jump on Halbrand was the guy that tried to incite the crowd, which could have been anybody. Tapi since kita dah ada attachment to the guy, and the guy has already expressed the sentiment of Numenor bila dia sebelum dia jump Halbrand, it makes sense to have that guy yang dah ada character motivation untuk marah, kata tak boleh percayalah elf seorang ni, tak boleh percayalah orang-orang yang jalan dengan elf ni. It makes sense. So for me it's a shortcut, but it's not a bad shortcut lah. So aku rasa macam mana if Gondor is a metaphor ataupun is a reincarnation of Numenor, then you're right. Meaning kena ada Numenor, kalau tak ada Numenor tak boleh ada Gondor. Sebab Gondor is in the reflection of Numenor. Then yes, Numenor should be 1 season, sepatutnya Numenor je. Should be 1.5 seasons. So if it's really that, if that is really the case, then there is a disconnect lah. Sebab you feel that is how important Numenor is to Gondor, but in terms of years, they are that far removed. Because when the people from Gondor formed Gondor after leaving Numenor, it was not because they wanted to recreate Numenor. It was because of the outcome of the whatever war they had after arriving at Middle Earth, and then unifying the forces of the Kingdom of Men, and then deciding that Gondor is the best form to manifest this new unification. Them coming from Numenor is of course an extra point lah, but they did not come to Middle Earth with the express intention to like Numenor nak tenggelam sebab kita dah lupa ajaran awal kita dah ingkar, maka kita nak lari ke Middle Earth nak mulakan Numenor yang baru. That is not exactly what it is lah. At least that's my impression.
Well, since we're talking about defining qualities lah kan, macam why do I feel like it's so jarring in relevance to the characterization of Numenor? I could say this lah, pasal if anything, one of the defining qualities is their strength, individual strength and military might. Like I said, I completely understand if they are not the focus of the show, if the plot point is trying to get to another location and situation as quickly as possible because everything is like condensed and compressed, faham. But macam mana? Because literally the defining quality is the strength and the opposite is shown. And having said that, bukanlah aku demand that their strength be displayed in all its glory, but you could just make them neutral would serve the purpose of moving forward with the plot a lot better than actually making the effort of making them weak. So that's just my point on the matter.
But so for me to kill this off, or rather the discussion, not your point, is that kalau dia orang neutral, it makes no storytelling sense for them to be invested in helping Galadriel dengan Halbrand. Satu sebab
I mean not neutral position. I'm talking neutral in strength. Because like I said, their defining quality is their might. If you don't show the might in all its glory, it's fine, but don't make them so pathetically weak, uncharacteristically weak.
I mean, sorry, aku nampak scene Galadriel dengan Halbrand je. So if you want to use those two and you want to take it as Numenor being misrepresented, and then aku macam I cannot connect with that. Sebab you are taking two examples of them losing to two probably exceptional trained fighters and warriors, and then you are using that as a to beat the fact that diorang mistreat Numenor. Aku tak rasa benda tu benda tu fair lah. And then another point is this. So do you think the elves and the dwarves are fairly represented?
In what way?
My point exactly. Sebab kalau kau nak kata Numenor should be represented in a fair way that does not diminish their significance or their reputation or their history or whatever, the same should be said for all the other races that played a key role. So, but I don't hear, not necessarily you, but I don't hear other people saying that, the elves should have been like this, or the dwarves should have been like this, or the HARFOOTS, fine, HARFOOTS tak ada sebab dia reference je, or the other races ke whatever should have been represented this way. They have been misrepresented, or they could have done more to reflect better on these races even if they do not have access to Silmarillion.
So I don't think the defining quality for elves and dwarves, I don't think the defining quality was rocked somewhat. It's not like the dwarves tiba like human height or something, and also that's why I didn't have any problem with them.
But again, you're not like a dwarf or elf punya fan. But you're not a dwarf or elf punya fan though. So the point that I was trying to make with that last point, with the last statement was, your preference for Numenor atau your loyalty for Numenor tu might be overriding it lah. Sebab you're not balanced in the sense that adakah kita dapat representation of the elves equally mistreated macam Numenor? Because what I'm hearing is just a Numenorian fan wishing that Numenor got a little bit more better, itu je. So I mean like, but that might be not necessarily consequential to the whole story. So for somebody yang tak kenal, aku tak rasa any representation of anyone is bad and enough to be a sticking point lah. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Okay.
I mean like
harapan dah habis.
Yeah.
Okay. Cuma harapan dah jadi benda lain. So
Sorry.
itu berakhirlah segmen ini. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Tuan Kaki Komik, Jamal Raslan, Kaki Review dan Munif Malek, Kaki TV. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kerana terima kasih kepada para penonton kerana setia menonton. Join us tomorrow di mana Hadi bakal menghostkan 5 trailer terbaru daripada seluruh dunia. Kita ada banyak cerita-cerita best. Join them tomorrow. Jaga arwah pun ada. Hari Sabtu nanti Hadi mungkin tak bercerita tentang mencuri Raden Saleh, tapi instead tentang MonsterCon 2022 dan 5 berita menarik daripada MonsterCon.
Support
dan hari
lokal.
nanti Kudo akan bincangkan tentang penamat season 4 Overlord, siri anime fantasi. Alright guys, so itu saja untuk malam ini guys. Terima kasih kerana menonton. Bye guys.
Selamat.